Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Welcome to the extraordinarily beautiful Shri Shri Radha Vinobi Hari Sachinandan Gaura Hari Mandir Baby Bhavan Shri Vrindavan Dham.
Jai.
Shri Gurudev
Ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai. Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. Bhanu Gauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Tik Pavan
Shri
Shri
Nityananda
Nityananda
Prabhu
Ki
Jai.
Jai. Prem Purushottam Shri
Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai.
Radha Vinod Bihari Ju
Ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai. Radha Ramana Ju Ki
Jai.
Jai.
Maharaj
Ki
Jai.
Jai. Shri Baladev Purnima Ki
Jai.
Jai. Shri Balaram Jayanti Ki
Jai.
Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki
Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna
Mahamantra Ki Jai.
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki
Jai.
Jai. Gaura Premanande
Hari Hari Bol. Sonam Radhe Radhe. Dandavat Pranam, all beautiful Vaishnavas. Swagatam, Swagatam, Swagatam. Who is this? Anup Bridge Mohan.
Jai.
Jay. Dandavat Pranam. Oh, Sonam, we missed you. Yash Jay. Dandavat Pranam.
I feel very, very guilty coming only for this day and then for Janmashtami and then Radhashtami. But very soon everything will resume as before.
Karen Copins. Bernard Mewison. Radhe Radhe.
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
So we will begin with Mangalacharan. Mangalacharan is the auspicious invocation calling out for the grace, the mercy, the blessings, the sidelong glances of our beloved, did I say the grace? Yes. Of our beloved Srila Gurudev, our beloved Srila Prabhupada, our Rupanuga Gaudiya Guru Varga, Atik Pavan,
Shri Nityananda Prabhu,
Prem Purushottam,
Sachinandan
Sachinandan Gaura Hari,
Hari,
going all the way back to the original Guru,
who is Krishna himself,
and his Guru of Prem,
Vrishabhanu Nandini Srimati Radha Thakurani,
as Krishna states, and you can find it in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Radhika Prema Guru Ami Shishya Nata,
Radhika is my Guru of Prem,
and I am simply her dancing pupil. She makes me dance various novel dances according to her tune.
So today we will be remembering what our Srila Gurudev and our Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Varga have spoken about Sri Baladev Prabhu on this auspicious day of the anniversary of his appearance, which we are very, very excited about. And also we're excited to, again, after so long, give you close-up darshan of this amazingly beautiful, brand new Baladev Purnima Shringar of Thakurji that Sudevi has so lovingly presented to Thakurji today.
Who knows, maybe we'll have to do a darshan in the middle.
We may. We never know. So,
We will begin.
yes.
With
So Mangalacharan you can find on page 1 of this
beautiful bhajan, treasure trove.
Sri Gaudiya Giti Gucha,
Starting with Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam on page 1. They are so beautiful. Sometimes I just can't believe they're with us.
Yeah.
We're shocked.
I just took it. Oh, the volume's on the other side. I'm not accustomed to this. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvekam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanditangsha Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayanati Namine Shri Krishna Leela Katane Sudaksham Audarya Madhurya Gunascha Yuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahantam Narayanam Tam Shirashan Namami Tridandinam Bhakta Shiromanincha Shri Krishna Pada Jagataika Hriddi Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasar Narayanam Tam Satatam Prapadye Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Gaura Presthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Iti Namine Atimartya Charitraya Swashritanancha Paline Jivadukhe Sadarkaya Shri Nama Premadayine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryo Jvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktida Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahaya Namostute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Dinakarine Rupanuga Virudhapa Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaura Kishorai Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipralambhara Sambodhe Padambujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodai Satchirananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupai Rupanugavarayate Gaura Virbhava Bhume Swam Nirdeshtasya Janapriya Vaishnava Sarva Bhoma Shri Jaganathayate Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jayatang Surato Pango Ramama Mandamatergati Matsarvasva Padambojo Radha Madana Mohano Divyat Brindaranya Kalpadrumada Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanastho Shri Shri Radha Shri Govinda Devo Preshthalibhi Sevyamanu Smarami Shri Mandra Sarasarambhi Vangshiva Tattatastitaha Karshan Venu Swanair Gopir Gopinatha Shri Esunaha Vrindaye Tulasi Devyai Priyaye Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavatyai Namo Namaha Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupaswarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhaktashaktikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritashvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Harer Nam Harer Nam Harer Nam Eva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva 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 Gatiranyatha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dandavat Pranam, all Vaishnavas. For the last 3 days, it's been 3 days, right?
Yes.
Starting with Rupa Goswami's Tirabhav Mahamahotsav, his disappearance day, there was the Rupa Goswami conference. And that Rupa Goswami conference had 2 sessions, one in the morning from 9 o'clock until about 2 o'clock, and then the second session from around 5:30 until 8:30. So I was fortunate to be able to attend all of those sessions, hearing from so many different Vaishnavas the glories of Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, and I felt quite enlivened by hearing so many repeat the glories of Rupa Goswami as they've heard them from our Guru Varga, from our Gurudev. So I pray that from that some Shakti, some blessings, some inspiration will come in my heart, that I might be able to say something about Sri Baladev Prabhu. But we cannot enter into any subject matter in spiritual life without first calling on the mercy of Sri Gurudev, who is also the manifestation of Baladev Prabhu. Akhanda Guru Tattva is Baladev Prabhu. He is the complete, unbroken conception of Guru Tattva, and he manifests himself in an infinity of forms as Sri Guru to teach us how to serve Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam Savitri, Gopal Ji, Chandani and Anupama. And do you see, Yashte is sure today that you will sing Par Karenge.
Oh yeah.
And Shri Das Avatar Strotam.
And look, it's Audrey's Jokobashkis, which means
Really?
Shri Prasad is there.
I've been thinking
With Charmukhi and Kalindi and Agnus.
Agnus.
Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam, all of you sweet Vaishnavas. Actually, we've missed you all very much.
So much.
I've been very busy, but I want to be busy with all of you. So Sudevi's promised me that as soon as we finish that, we can get back to our regular daily programs. So I'm desperately endeavoring to finish as quickly as possible.
It takes so long to do one thing here.
Well, 2 hours and then 2 days missing and then another 3 hours and then 2 days missing. It's like that. So, I want to call out to Sri Gurudev in the form of the bhajan written by our Srila Gurudev, because the word bal is there. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman. Nahi koi sadhana bal. Because today we're going to be focusing on the glories of that supreme bal, Balram, who gives Chitbal, transcendental strength, to all. And especially for us, Badhajivas, he gives that strength by which we can move forward on the path of sadhan, bhajan. Make that endeavor to cry and call out for that mercy which is required to pull us to perfection. So Sri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, page 359 in our Sri Gaudiya Giti Gucha. Oh, Savitri is on it. She has it. And we've got Ulus and Dweep. Sudevi.
Dweep. Rudra. Radhe.
359 Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhaj. This is not my songbook. Look, I opened it and I have such a beautiful picture of Gurudev in there. This is yours, right? That's great. And so this bhajan was written by our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Swami Maharaj. There are other versions of this which say Jnana Karma Bhakti Tina Prakashata, but our Srila Gurudev always preached Anya Bhilashita Shunyam Jnana Karma Adi Anavritam. So here it says Bhakti Bhav Prem. That is in line with the teachings, the moods, conceptions of our Srila Gurudev. Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, Shri Guru Charana Kamala Bhajaman, 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 Shri Guru Charana ki jai. Shri Baladev Prabhu ki jai. Shri Baladev Purnima ki jai. So now, we will call to the mercy of the Vaishnavas, who are also manifestations of Sri Baladev Prabhu. The mood of loving service to Krishna is a manifestation of Krishna, but Krishna's first expansion is Baladev Prabhu. And although he is not different from Krishna, still he has his own speciality. And that speciality is that every particle of his being is made of the mood of loving service to Krishna. So sometimes we have heard from our Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Varga that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. But there's something else. If the supreme personality of Godhead is the supreme enjoyer, then what is giving the enjoyment? That is called ashray. So our Srila Prabhupada has written the term, the supreme personality of servitor Godhead. And that is Akhanda Guru Tattva, or the full, unbroken, complete conception of Guru, who manifests in unlimited forms as Sri Guru, and also the serving sentiments of the Vaishnavas, the pure Vaishnavas. So that same principle is manifesting into our lives directly as Sri Guru. So from beginning to middle to end, we are always dependent upon the mercy of Sri Baladev Prabhu. Yes, Yashjay, a little later.
What?
He's like, Hari Haraye. You're welcome to request bhajans
He's
that
got
are
it planned
in line
out.
with the bhavs, the moods that we are hoping to bring about today. Shri Vaishnava Vandana by Devaki Nandan Das. Page 36, starting with Vrindavana Vasi Jota Vaishnaviragona. Vrindavano Vasi Jato Vaishnaviragana Prathame Vandana Kuri Sogaro Charana Vrindavano Vasi Jato Vaishnaviragana Prathame Vandana Kuri Sogaro Charana Nilachara Vasi Bhumite Toriya Vando According to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, because the conditioned soul, the fallen conditioned soul, cannot detect the presence of Paramatma within the heart, or the Guru within the heart, Chaitya Guru, that Guru within the heart takes an external form, so that by the medium of our senses we can connect with them. That external form is known as Diksha Guru, and a not different manifestation of that Diksha Guru is known as Siksha or Shiksha Guru. They are the same, but yet they are special. And just the other day we heard from Srimati Didi that there can be many Shiksha Gurus, but only one Bhajan Shiksha Guru. Just like we have one Diksha Guru. So many Siksha Gurus might be there, but only one Bhajan Shiksha Guru. if we want to attain exclusivity in our bhajan, then we must take shelter of one exclusive personality, exclusively.
That doesn't mean you can't hear from others.
It doesn't mean we cannot hear from others, but when we hear from others, it must support, endorse, and nourish our shraddha, our nishta, our conviction, and our faith in our Gurudev.
Yeah.
So this is the extension of Baladev Prabhu and his mercy directly coming to us in our lives. Shri Guru, the Vaishnavas, Shiksha Gurus. There's a whole tattva lineage. But the Guru in the heart is the manifestation also known as Kshiro Dakshai Vishnu, manifested as Paramatma everywhere, also the Guru in the heart. And that Guru in the heart takes that external manifestation as Diksha and Shiksha Gurus. So we should understand that Baladev Prabhu is that merciful manifestation of Krishna, extending his hands, his mercy, into everywhere and everything. He's serving Krishna and also endeavoring to engage all others in the service of Krishna. Yes, Sona, the aggregate Guru Tattva has a Sanskrit term that is called Akhanda Guru Tattva, or the unbroken Akhanda Guru Tattva. That is the complete conception, or as I told previously, as our Srila Prabhupada said, the supreme personality of servitor Godhead. According to the concept of enjoyment and service, if there is enjoyment to be had, then there must be something which is fulfilling that enjoyment. That is also not different from the Lord himself, but it is a special aspect of himself. One aspect is the enjoyment aspect. The other aspect is the providing that enjoyment aspect. And together, that paints a complete picture. So, when you hear that bhajan by Ashtakam by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sakshat Hari Tvaina Samashta Shastre Uktashtata Bhav Yata Eva Sadhi Kintu Prabhurya Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Shri Charnarvindam. According to all revealed scriptures, Shri Guru is directly Sakshat Shri Hari, Sakshat Hari. But there is a speciality there. Sakshat Hari Tvena Samashta Shastre. Kintu means but. Kintu Prabhurya Priya Eva Tasya. But in essence, it is himself, but manifesting in a special aspect. And that aspect is as the most dear servitor of the Lord. So yes, the complete aggregate. The aggregate Guru Tattva is Baladev Prabhu or Lord Balram. Upasan Das. Balram is also called Adi Guru, from where Adi Shankar or Shivji was born. He is certainly Adi Guru. We know that Krishna is the origin even of Balaram. So we say Vande Krishnam Jagat Gurum. But then Krishna has his Guru also. Who's the Guru of...
Radhika Prema Guru Amishishanata.
Oh, our Gurudev would be so happy. Radhika Prem Guru Ami Shishyanata. Krishna is saying that Radhika is my Guru of Prem. I am simply her dancing pupil. Swayam Rupa, Swayam Prakash. Thank you, Yashjay. So, we are going to get more into all of this, but yes, Krishna himself is Swayam Rupa. The himself, his own self, his own form. And then he has other manifestations of himself, it is said, like in Rasalila. Now, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives a Rasik explanation because in Vrindavan, generally we don't recognize or see the Aishwaryata of Krishna. He has more of the Narabat Lila, the human-like pastimes. And so even if Krishna manifests any Aishwarya Lila, everyone might see it for a second, but immediately it disappears and they only think he's their dear most beloved. They don't think he's Bhagavan. In the Rasalila pastimes, every gopi felt he's dancing with me alone. And we see in the pictures that Krishna has manifested himself unlimitedly and he's dancing in between each gopi. It's Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, more like a firebrand. You know, if you have fire on the end of a rope or a stick and you swing it around very fast, you will see a complete circle. Or what looks like a complete circle. That's how our lighting also works. Or televisions for that matter. There's alternating current, unless you have direct current, but it's vibrating at such a fast frequency that it appears to be solid. Movies work the same way, 26 frames a second or more, to give you the appearance of solidity or fluidity. Krishna in the Rasalila, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, is moving like that as well, so quickly that all feel he is with me personally. So sometimes it is said that he is manifested into the Prabha Prakash, all those forms. But this is a special manifestation. But when there's a special adjustment, you can say, or a special kind of mood, which has the mood of servitor to Krishna, his own manifestation as his own servitor, that first manifestation comes as Baladev Prabhu. Now we cannot say that Krishna manifested Balram. But in order to give us some idea of origin, then they say it like that. When did Balram not exist? Of course he always existed. As far as Krishna is concerned, Balram existed before him because he's his older brother, right? In Naravat Leela, human-like pastimes, Krishna sees Balaram's my older brother, always. So how would Balaram not exist? How would Srimati Radhika not exist? Even all jivas have always existed, and yet they show in Shastra that there is some cause and effect to give us some idea. To give us an idea of source, you can say, origin. Did Balaram create the jivas? Did Krishna create the jivas? Well, Krishna says there was never a time when you didn't exist. Where did we come from? We know that Baladev Prabhu is Sat or Sandhini Shakti, the Adhishtatra Devata of Sandhini Shakti, or existence potency itself. So from that perspective, without Balaram, we would have nothing. Nothing. No form of Krishna, no form of Srimati Radhika, no pastimes, no paraphernalia, no Vrindavan, no Govardhan, no Yamuna, no anything. Because he is existence potency itself. And Krishna, he's the Adhishtatra Devata of Samvit Shakti. Samvit means bhav. It means knowledge. It means relationship. And Srimati Radhika is the Adhishtatra Devata of Hladini. In other words, she's the embodiment of the pleasure potency of Krishna. And our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj has explained that all three together compose Advai Gyan Paratattva. Who is Advai Gyan Paratattva? The supreme non-dual absolute truth is none other than
Braje Brajendra Nandan.
Mahaprabhu tells Sanatan Goswami, Krishnera Swarup Vichar, Shuno Sanatan, listen Sanatan, Advai Gyan Tattva, the supreme non-dual absolute truth is none other than Braje Brajendra Nandan. Vrindavan's Braje Brajendra Nandan means the son of Braja Indra, that is Nanda Maharaj, that is Krishna of Vrindavan. So in one sense, we see, okay, there's Krishna, there's Balram, there's Srimati Radhika, there's all of the associates. It's all not different from Krishna, and yet there's also difference. So there's unity and specificity. It's all there within the absolute. And you cannot deny the absolute oneness, and you can also not deny the absolute
Manyness.
variety. Otherwise, the absolute would not be absolute. If we, in this material world, experience a practically infinite amount of variety, then how can we deny that to our source?
We would have more than him.
We would have more than him. So the difference is that there is nothing that is independent from or even separate from Krishna. We're also not separate from Krishna. We are composed of microscopic particles. The most infinitesimal particle in all of creation is the Tatashta Jiva. And all of the material energy which is coating us, Bhumir apo nalo vayu kammano buddhir evacha ahankara itiyame bhina prakritir ashtada. Krishna says what our material body is composed of and what our subtle body is composed of: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. All of that is also Krishna's own Bahiranga Shakti, external energy. So we cannot say that anything is equal to or independent from Krishna. One thing we can say, we can't even say that this is equal to him because she's the superior personality of Godhead, as our Gurudev would say. Krishna has accepted that himself, that she is the superior personality of Godhead, and therefore he's begging for her foot dust, because love controls all in Vrindavan. Jai. So there's so much tattva regarding Baladev Prabhu. In essence, you cannot separate Baladev Prabhu from anything either, because nothing exists without him. And yet within the conception of rasa, Baladev Prabhu himself does not enter into the Nikunja Leelas directly. In fact, because he's the older brother, Krishna sees him as guru, as respectable, so Krishna cannot meet with Srimati Radhika or the gopis in front of Baladev Prabhu. As anyone from Indian culture would know, if you know the proper Vedic culture, that you will not express your intimate feelings with your beloved or your wife in front of your older brother. It would be thoroughly inappropriate. What to speak of that, you would never do it in front of your uncle or your father, your parents, or anything like that. It would be thoroughly inappropriate. Krishna sometimes does it, but in a very tricky way. He stands in such a way that in order to appease Srimati Radhika, because somehow he has done something to place her into man.
Are you telling how they all met?
No.
Oh.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe at that time.
The shadow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell it.
Srila Gurudev explained that once Srimati Radhika was having some great man toward Krishna and he couldn't break it by any way. She wouldn't see him. And so one day, Vrishabhanu Maharaj and Yashoda Maya were going toward Varshana, and at the same time...
Maharaj and
I'm sorry.
Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya.
And Yashoda Maya, sorry. And Vrishabhanu Maharaj and Kirtida were coming the other way. So Srimati Radhika was with her parents and Krishna was with his. And he was thinking, how will I appease her? How will I get her to even look at me? What to speak of appease her? Somehow or other they met on the way to see each other. So immediately the parents all embraced each other as they're very close and good friends. But Srimati Radhika, although she welcomed and, kind of embraced Krishna's Krishna's mother Yashoda, she wouldn't look at Krishna. So Krishna didn't know what to do, and he was looking down at her feet and he saw that his shadow was coming something toward Srimati Radhika. So he moved around and made it so, because she was looking down, and he made it so that his shadow came right on her feet, that his head was on Srimati Radhika's feet.
The shadow of his head was on her feet.
So in front of his mother and father, in front of her mother and father, but without anyone knowing, and without Srimati Radhika even looking up. She was looking down and she saw Krishna arrange himself so that his head was at her feet.
The shadow.
And immediately she started to smile and her mon broke. So in a very tricky, hidden way, there may be some rasa between them, but it would be very, very hidden.
Yes. They would never show it directly in front of Nanda Maharaj.
Even Baladev Prabhu moves ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Shomarani explains in that picture.
Have you seen that painting? The painting of the gopis? Srimati Radhika and the two gopis kind of in the background, and Krishna and his friends, and Baladev Prabhu and the cows are going into the forest in the morning. Baladev Prabhu is walking ahead and glancing back. And Krishna is taking some time to glance at the gopis. Baladev Prabhu knows that Krishna cannot do this in front of him. So he goes ahead so that Krishna will have some time to cast his loving sidelong glances at the gopis. So Baladev Prabhu gives him some space because Baladev Prabhu's whole nature is how to serve and please Krishna. Baladev Prabhu is aware, but Baladev Prabhu also gives that space. In Govardhan Lila, Baladev Prabhu is the one who caught Krishna. All of the cowherd men, all of the cowherd boys, all of the gopis, everyone saw, what is this? Krishna is holding up Govardhan on the little tip of his little finger for so many days without any problem. And then suddenly Krishna starts to shake, his finger starts to shake, Govardhan Hill starts to go like this. And Balaram's thinking, Balaram knows that Krishna's God, because he is not different from him. He's thinking, how is this possible? How can that mountain give Krishna any difficulty? And all the cowherd men and the cowherd boys are thinking, we are going to prop up Govardhan. They're using their sticks. And the gopis are looking at Govardhan. If you create any difficulty for Krishna, we will burn you with our eyes. But Baladev is thinking, how is this possible? So he looks at Krishna, and then he follows Krishna's eyes. Where are Krishna's glances going? At that time, because it was an emergency situation, all of the elders, all of the juniors, all of the kids, everyone, all the cows, all of Vrindavan was in the emergency shelter. When you're in an emergency shelter, it's not like the rules apply the same way as when you're not in the emergency shelter, because everyone has to be in the same place.
Usually Krishna's at home in the evening, and all the sakhas, they can't be with him, all of the gopis cannot be with him, all the cows. All of a sudden, there's an arrangement that Krishna is there with everyone all day, all night, for 7 days.
What a service Lord Indra has provided.
No one could eat or drink. They didn't want anything else. They were fully drinking the nectar of the beauty of Krishna.
And Krishna took this as an opportunity to fully drink the nectar of the beauty of that person who is the enchantress of Madan Mohan himself, Madan Mohan Mohini Srimati Radha Thakurani. So Baladev Prabhu is looking at Krishna. Why is Krishna shaking? Why does it appear that he's having some difficulty? And he follows Krishna's eyes and sees, oh, he's looking at Srimati Radhika. Then he looks back at Krishna, and then Krishna realized, I've been caught. Krishna became shy immediately, began to blush and look down, knowing that he had been caught by Baladev Prabhu. So here's another example of how generally this thing is not done in front of one's older brother or their seniors. This kind of meeting. To do so is considered inappropriate in Vedic culture.
Older brother is almost like father.
Older brother is almost like father or guru. Sri Rup Goswami always saw Sanatana Goswami as his guru. In Sadak Rup, he saw him as his guru. In Siddha Rup, as Rup Manjari and Sanatana Goswami.
Lavang Manjari?
Yes. Sorry, I'm just...
It's okay.
In that case, Rupa Manjari is considered in the superior position, but in Sadak Rup, Rup Goswami is always seeing Sanatana Goswami as my Gurudev. He's his older brother, but also he was the prime minister of the Nawab at the time. So Rup Goswami is always respecting him like that.
I was just thinking when you asked me that, my mind was somewhere else, and I was thinking that, oh, this is like after the time of Lakshman, he decided I'll never come as the younger brother because he couldn't take the duties of the younger brother. It was too painful to send Sita.
Sri Ram ordered Lakshman, you have to take Sita and leave her in the forest. Lakshman was like, how can I do that? He didn't think it was the right thing to do, but because Ram is his older brother, he had to follow his order. Bhima didn't like what Yudhishthir was doing. Yudhishthir was gambling and literally lost himself and all the Pandavas and all of their property.
And Draupadi.
Well, because Draupadi was their wife, technically that was considered their property, or at least that's how Duryodhana took it. Duryodhana started slapping his thigh. Bhima was really upset with Yudhishthira, but he couldn't say anything at the time because Yudhishthira was the elder brother. So they accept the older brother like their guru, like their leader. Lakshman did not like that Ram had him do that. He was really not happy with it. So as Sudevi's told, and our Gurudev told, if you look at the incarnations which came after Ram, Balram never comes as the younger brother again. Balram comes as the older brother, as Balaram, and he comes as the older brother, as Nityananda Prabhu, the elder of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to such an extent that he could break Mahaprabhu's danda and throw it in the water. So he had this kind of mood. He didn't have to follow what Krishna was saying, but still everything he does is for the pleasure and the happiness of Krishna.
I was listening to Gurudev speaking Hindi lectures today about Baladev Prabhu, and he kept bringing up Lakshman.
So, excuse me, as Yashjay has previously requested.
Is it already a Parkarangi? No.
No, Hari Hari. Because that is calling to our 6 Goswamis, but also calling to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, Sachinandan Gaura Hari. Without Rupa Goswami, what would we even know about Baladev Prabhu? Although we know that Sri Rupa Goswami is Rup Manjari in Krishna Lila, still, he has helped us to understand all of these tattvas, all of the specialities. If you see Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, everything is there. All of the different moods. Rupa Goswami, Gurudev said from a neutral position, has expounded upon all of the different rasas, Shantaras, Dasyaras, Sakyaras, Vatsalyaras, Madhuryaras, and somehow Baladev Prabhu plays in every single rasa, in Shantaras, manifesting as the Dham. Even before Krishna could manifest, Mathuresh Krishna could manifest in the womb of Devaki. Before that, Mathuresh Baladev manifested within the womb of Devaki to provide the platform. Before Harinam manifests in our heart, first Guru comes into our life and creates that platform and then gives us Harinam. So the platform is Guru. The platform is Baladev Prabhu. The platform is Vrindavan. The platform is the Dham.
Platform is the heaviest.
The platform is Gurutva. Very, very heavy. The Baladev Prabhu manifests as all of the paraphernalia of Krishna. Krishna's earrings, his clothes, his flute, everything. In fact, the gopis are a bit jealous of Krishna's flute. They're thinking, what? How is it possible that this piece of bamboo is able to take that property which belongs to us, Adharamrit, the nectar of Krishna's lips? And they even joke, they call that flute Krishna's dearest Sakhi. In fact, it is told in Sri Brahma Samhita, Shriya Kantaha Kantaha Paramapurush Kalpataravo Druma Bhumishchintamani Ganamayitoyam Amritam Kataganam Natyam Gamanamapi Vangshi Priya Sakhi. Vangshi Priya Sakhi. So they're saying that Krishna's flute is his dearest girlfriend in the essence.
They're always trying to steal it from him.
Baladev Prabhu is manifesting as Krishna's earrings, and those earrings are doing what? Lasat Kundalam. They're swinging to and fro, but as we understand, everything is conscious in Braj. Everything. Chidanandam. It is all transcendental. Everything is alive with love and affection for Krishna. So those earrings themselves, as they're swinging to and fro, are kissing Krishna's cheeks again and again and again.
That's really sweet. Also in Hamsadutta, there Lalita Sakhi is telling the Hamsa, the swan, first you should offer pranam to his jewelry. So they're saying his earrings, his right, and they're saying that he is always listening. There, you know, the earrings are listening. So please offer pranam so that they will allow our message into Krishna's ears.
Wow. Amazing what Sri Rupa Goswami has given us. so many devotees were touching on Hangsadutta in the last few days.
So beautiful.
I just want to again offer my Dandavat Pranam to all of you who
Me
are
too.
present and
Dandavat
to all of you who are
Pranam.
not yet present, to all in the past, in the present, and whoever will be. My Dandavat Pranam to all
Dandavat
Vaishnavas.
Pranam all Vaishnavas. Madhumati. And Parshuram.
Parshuram?
Well, Madhumati and Parshuram.
Oh. Dandavat Pranam to our Italian familia.
Yeah, where's Zisha?
Oh, wow.
Nityananda Prabhu
Yeah.
Swami.
So, through the medium of this beautiful bhajan, Hari Hare Nama Krishna Shri Nam Kirtan by Shri Narottam Das Thakur, we will be calling out for the mercy of our 6 Goswamis. Really, this is our goal, our aspiration, specifically the lotus feet of Shri Rupa Goswami. But here, Tadera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanivas Janame Janame Hoy E Abhinash. To serve their lotus feet and reside in the company of devotees is my aspiration, birth after birth. Page 148, and our Sri Gaudiya Giti Guccha. Hari Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Kundaram Shri Madhusudan. Prabhupada ki jai, Sanatana Goswami Pad ki jai, Shad Goswami Prabhu ki jai, Shrupan Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. And now,
everyone,
worship Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Can someone please tag Isha Thakuran? So as you all know, Brajendra Nandana Jay, Shachi Sutta Horiloshe, Balram Hoilo Nitai. The self-same original Brajendra Nandan Shyam Sundar Krishna of Vrindavan, taking the mood, the complexion, the bhava Srimati Radhika, has manifested in this world as Sri Shachinandan Gaurahari Sachi Sutta, the son of Mother Shachi, otherwise known as Lord Chaitanya or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Balram, that self-same original Balram, has himself manifested in this world directly as
Nityananda Prabhu.
Yes, Padmavati Kumar Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So that same self-same personality has come in the form of the most merciful personality, who does not discriminate. Actually, he does. His discrimination is that I'm not going to discriminate. Usually Krishna says, as one approaches me, I reciprocate accordingly. Nitai looks and says, for everyone. Even Mahaprabhu was resistant, and Nitai broke his resistance. He broke that down. Ghare ghare bule prema amiyaraman. He broke that dam, and Mahaprabhu's praying flooded everywhere, even to those who did not want it. How merciful is Nityananda Prabhu. So, at this moment, for some reason, because I mentioned Ghare Ghare Bule Prem Amiyaraman, do you want to read it?
I don't.
Nitai Gunamani Amar Nitai Gunamani.
I'll sing back.
Okay.
I'm gonna back up.
Page 61 in our Sri Gaudiya Yuti Guchha. As much as we can admire Sri Nityananda Prabhu for his awesomeness, his mood of loving service to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we can understand that that is the manifestation of Baladev Prabhu's own nature, because he is not different from Balram. So page 61 by Sri Lochan Das Thakur, Nitai Gunamani, Amar Nitai Gunamani. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda
Shri
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Because the eternal serving principle of Baladev Prabhu, really, what is his function? It's to always increase Krishna's transcendental pleasure. As I told before, he manifests in every rasa. Even as a sakha, as Krishna's brother, he's a sakha. Yet, because he's the older brother, he has vatsalyata. parental protective mood toward his younger brother Krishna. He's serving in every single rasa, infusing that spiritual strength, not only within Goloka Vrindavan, Gokul, but in every different realm. He himself is manifesting the jivas. Because from Krishna, his first expansion or prabhav, vaibhav, prakash, Baladev Prabhu then manifests all of the, you can say, the forms of the eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. And then from him manifests Mool Sankarshan. Mool Sankarshan means the root Sankarshan. That Mool Sankarshan manifests all of the eternal associates in Dwaraka and Mathura. Yes, it is not the same Balram in Mathura and Dwaraka as in Vrindavan. There is a special tattva. Just like Krishna manifests in so many different avatars, the original Krishna of Vrindavan manifests in so many different avatars, the original Balaram of Vrindavan also manifests in so many different ways. Technically, those avatars are manifested by the medium of Baladev Prabhu, who is not different from Krishna, but who has his particular function. It is said the only real difference is his paraphernalia and his complexion. Krishna's complexion is darkish, sometimes compared to a blue sapphire or a monsoon rain cloud, which is brilliant. But all of these material examples cannot possibly touch the beautiful transcendental reality. And it is said that Baladev's complexion is whitish. But really, what is the complexion in transcendental terms?
Bhav.
Color or complexion represents bhav. So that darkish complexion, our Param Gurudev is telling in Vinod Bihari Tattvashtakam, just as dark complexion or blackness means there is no reflection of color. In other words, everything is being absorbed into it. And just as light or white complexion is reflecting everything. So Baladev Prabhu has that complexion. Srimati Radhika has that complexion. Gaurangi is not gold. Takta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe. Always we hear molten gold. Have you ever seen molten gold? It is so bright, so vibrant that you can barely look at it.
But doesn't it have some pinkish also? Some...
Around the edges.
Yeah.
The part that's cooling, but she's not. Baladev Prabhu's complexion is also like this. But sometimes they're so absorbed in remembering or in absorption of the object of their love and affection that they take on that complexion. So sometimes, like in Mansarovar, Srimati Radhika took on the complexion of Krishna. When Yashoda is binding Krishna or endeavoring to bind him at that time, Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj and our scriptures have told that her complexion was like Krishna's complexion because she was so absorbed. Sometimes we hear that she's golden, other times we hear that she is dark like Krishna. Baladev Prabhu's complexion is also of that ashray nature. Beautiful and brilliant. It's said whitish. We think of material white, but we cannot understand that bhav. So he's manifesting in every ras, including Madhurya ras, in the form of Ananga Manjari, to serve Radha and Krishna's transcendental pastimes. So he's serving in all ways. And as Nityananda Prabhu, he is coming also. Here, Heno Nitai Vine Bhai, Radha Krishna Paite Nai. It is not possible without a personality such as Nitai to attain Radha and Krishna. So firmly take hold of his lotus feet. If Nitai is not merciful, Nitayar Kuruna Have, Braje Radha Krishna Pave. If Nitai is merciful, Nitayar Karuna Have, Braje Radha Krishna Pave. One can attain Radha and Krishna in Braj. Dharo Nitai Charana Dukhani. So firmly take hold of Nitai's 2 lotus feet. So for us, Baladev Prabhu, although he's not directly entering into those kunjas, by the medium of Nityananda Prabhu, by his mercy, one can attain the shelter of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahe Anya. And by his mercy, one will be placed under the guidance of Swarup Damodar Goswami, like Raghunath Das Goswami was, and then one will understand and realize, Sri Krishna Chaitanya is Krishna, but in Radha's bhav. Radhika will put you in the care of Lalita Sakhi. Lalita Sakhi will put you under the guidance of Sri Rupa. So, Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, say more Sampada, say more Bhajana Pujan, and Rupa will then put you in the seva of Srimati Radhika. But always under the anugatya, or the guidance of Sri Rupa. So there's very, very specific, very exact, refined hope and aspiration.
As Srila Prabhupada said, a science.
I was just reading yesterday from our Srila Gurudev. He was speaking about that verse. Gopi bhartu patakamalayor dasa das anudasaha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling this at the time of Rath Yatra, in front of Jagannath. Some part for himself, but actually for us and our benefit, revealing the identity of all of those who are coming in the line of Rupa Goswami. In other words, what he actually came to give. The deepest inner heart's desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's tasting Radha Bhav. He desires for all to have some experience of that Svabhakti Shriyam by the medium of Rupa Goswami, who in Krishna Lila is Radha Dasi Shri Rupa Manjari. Those jivas who have that natural aptitude will be attracted spontaneously to that lineage, the line of Rupa Goswami, known as Rupanuga, and will be awakened to that eternal loving seva. So Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Dasa Das Anudasaha, our Srila Gurudev tells in Bhakti Rasayan, you can read it yourself, that Das Anudasa means, in the Gopi Bhartu means Radhika's Krishna, the Radharaman, or Gopinath means that Krishna who is serving the gopis, especially Srimati Radhika, and the Das Anudas, Das Anudasa means the mood of the maidservants of Srimati Radhika. So in other words, our Gurudev was very, very clear that what Mahaprabhu wanted to give, that he gave to Rupa Goswami, was this mood of Radha Dasyam in the Anugatya of Sri Rupa. That is the meaning of that verse. Oh look, it's Jiva Pavana Prabhu.
Jiva Pavana Prabhu!
Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Look at everyone's here. Radhe
Chloe,
Radhe.
Chandrika,
Look at Chandrika,
everyone.
Premlata.
Oh wow! Raghava and Banu.
Where?
Well, Banu, it says Brit.
There she is.
Hi. And Anantadas is here now.
Jai.
Welcome, Swagatam, Swagatam, Suswagatam, beautiful Vaishnavas.
It's interesting because our goal is Radha Dasya. In the group of Lalita Sakhi, under the guidance of Sri Rupa Manjari. But then how does Nityananda Prabhu play into it? Nityananda Prabhu also, or Baladev, plays into that. It's like both sides are working on us at the same time. So from one side you can say it's the Tattva side. Guru Tattva is the manifestation of Baladev Prabhu, but that Tattva also has a personality. And so at the same time, Guru is a representative or manifestation of Baladev Prabhu, and also an individual person who is a maidservant of Srimati Radhika in Vrindavan. Nikunja Yuno, Ratikeli Siddhya Yayali Bhirdukti Rapekshaniya. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is telling Sakshat Hari Tvena Samasta Shastre. That's the Baladev conception. And he's also saying Nikunja Yuno Ratikeli Siddhya Yayali Bhirdukti Rapekshaniya. That is the Manjari conception. It is one and the same person manifesting, in essence, two different tattvas. The Guru Tattva of Baladev Prabhu and Nitai, and the Rasa Tattva of being the maidservant of Srimati Radhika. I believe Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj, I've read something from him where he was explaining the speciality of the relationship between Balram, or Nityananda Prabhu, and Srimati Radharani. It's not direct, but yet without his mercy, without his help, then we cannot attain to that.
But also in his other form.
As an Angamanjali.
It is direct.
It is direct. So, truth is stranger or more amazing than fiction. It's very difficult to understand and yet also simple. Nityananda Prabhu, without his mercy, one cannot attain the shelter of Mahaprabhu. If we try to go directly to Radha and Krishna without taking shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, it will not be possible. Gaura prema rasarana se taranga jevarve se Radha Madhava antaranga. If you dive deep into the waves, the ocean of Gaura prema, sometimes as he's diving deep into the Ganga, one will rise in Vrindavan on the banks of Jamuna in the association of Shri Shri Radhika and Madhava. If you want Mahaprabhu's mercy, you cannot bypass Nityananda Prabhu. Raghunath Das tried and was sent home. Then when he came to Nityananda Prabhu placed his 2 lotus feet on the head of Raghunath Das Goswami and gave him the blessing that all of his material bindings will be removed, and very soon he will be able to attain his heart's goal. So by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, Raghunath was able to attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu placed him in the care of Surup Damodar Goswami, who in Krishna Lila is Lalita Saki. So Nitai is an essential, the essential part, and that same Nityananda Prabhu, Baladev Prabhu, as Nitai, is manifesting to us in our lives as Shri Gurudev. One devotee asked our Gurudev, we see Radha Krishna Mahaprabhu, where's Nityananda Prabhu? He said Nityananda Prabhu is manifested in your life as Gurudev. So we should understand that principle. We already sang Guru Kripa Bina Nahi Koi Sadhana Bal. Without the mercy of Guru, we have no power, spiritual strength, to even endeavor on the path of sadhana. Srila Gurudev said, Srila Guru Govinda Maharaj has said, our Guru Varga have all said that without the merciful sidelong glance of Gurudev, you wouldn't even have the spiritual strength to pick up your japamala, or even the desire to put on your tilak or do anything. We should understand that every inclination we have on the path of bhakti is by their mercy, their wonderful kripa kataksha, their sidelong glance. So Nityananda Prabhu, who is not different from Baladev Prabhu, we are completely dependent on his mercy. Without his mercy, we cannot attain the shelter of the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. So one should never endeavor to bypass Sri Nityananda Prabhu. It will be an utter failure. It's impossible to go that way without him. In fact, he told Raghunath, you are a thief. You tried to take my property without coming to me first, without getting my permission. Raghunath tried to go to Mahaprabhu first. Nitai called him a thief. It's not going to work. You come to me first. Then he removed all of his obstacles. Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharir, hari hari bolite nayane babinir, ar kabe. When, oh when will that day come? Nitai chandat koruna hoibe. When Nityananda Prabhu will give me his mercy, then sansarabashanamor kabe tuchahabe. Then my whole material existence will be rendered insignificant. Bhavam budir vatsa padam 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 yadvi padam natesham. How insignificant? As insignificant as the water in the hoofprint of a calf. The unlimited ocean of material existence will be made insignificant by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, by the mercy of Guru, by the mercy of Baladev Prabhu. He will give that spiritual strength. He gives the spiritual strength to all of the eternally liberated personalities for them to be able to serve Krishna. He manifests all of those personalities in all of the different realms. I was telling before, in Mathura Dwarka, he's manifesting all of the eternal associates of the Lord. In the Vaikuntha planets, from Mahasankarshan, he manifests as Mahasankarshan in the Vaikuntha planets, and manifests all of those eternally liberated personalities who serve Sriman Narayan there in the Vaikuntha planets. That self-same Baladev Prabhu, who is manifesting first as Mool Sankarshan, then Mahasankarshan in the Vaikuntha planets, then manifests as Karana Dakshai Vishnu. He's the one you've seen in the photos. who's lying in the causal ocean, manifesting simply in his sleep through his breathing unlimited universes emanating from his pores. Everything coming into life, into being, and then as he breathes back in, it all goes back into its primordial form within him, and then he breathes back out, and it all happens again and again and again, forever. So that same Baladev Prabhu has manifested in this form as Karano Dakshaya Vishnu. All of those jivas in those universes are in essence manifesting via him. That's why he has that special affinity toward us. Our Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj has explained that he has a special affinity toward the jivas because he is in essence the father of the jivas. He sees us like his wayward children, and he devises an infinity of ways to not, you can say, go against our independence, but to distract us from our independence of not wanting to serve Krishna. He wants to distract us from that anyway, because he wants us to be happy. He wants us to become successful. No parent wants to see their child suffering and suffering and suffering. They always want their children to excel and to be happy forever. So he also has this mood. This same Karana Dakshaya Vishnu is then manifesting within each universe, within the womb of each universe, Garbha, as Garbho Dakshaya Vishnu. And he is maintaining each universe, inside each universe. And then that same Garbho Dakshaya Vishnu is manifesting within a particular section of each universe known as Shiro Dakshaya Vishnu. He's the form that the Brahmas within each universe go to pray to when there's all kinds of upheaval within the universe. He goes to the edge of the Kir Sagar, the ocean of Kir, or milk, and from the edge he's praying to Vishnu, Shiro Dakshaya Vishnu. He doesn't see him directly. He knows he's there, but he's praying from the core of his heart, and he receives a message, and that message generally says, you should all prepare, tell all the demigods to take birth in advance and prepare. I'm going to come, and I'm going to perform my pastimes of killing the demons, reestablishing the principles of religion, doing all kinds of amazing things. So you should all take birth, along with your wives and everything, in Mathura, or the area of Brajmandal. You should all take birth as the monkeys, or you should take birth in whatever Leela he's going to perform. So Brahma then gives the instruction to the Devas, and they all assist the Lord in performing his pastimes. So this Shiro Dakshaya Vishnu also has another function. That Shiro Dakshaya Vishnu is known as Param Atma. Now, Param Atma means supreme soul, or as our Srila Prabhupada writes, super soul. But the super soul is present everywhere, outside, inside. Like Prahlad says, Bahir Nashinga, Hridaye Nashinga, Antar. He's outside, inside, present everywhere. Yes, he's in this pillar. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. So this is Paramatma. This is another manifestation of Shiro Dakshaya Vishnu. And that is also Chaitya Guru, Guru within the heart. And we already spoke about that. That same Baladev Prabhu, manifesting through all of these different forms, and as Chaitya Guru is now for our own benefit, because we cannot detect the presence of the super soul in the heart. Jive Shakshat Nihitade Guru Chaitya Rupe is manifesting externally to the external senses of the jiva. That actually just right there discounts the whole Ritvik thing. Sorry. But it does. It discounts it because it's not some contrivance. Oh, I'm just going to select this guru or that guru or some guru in parampara. Unless you really have that kind of a depth of connection, it's not going to work. You're bypassing the Guru Tattva principle. Srila Prabhupada writes in his purports that only a liberated soul can directly or can detect the presence of the super soul within the heart directly. Otherwise, he manifests in the form externally to the external senses of the jiva as Guru. That is a personality whom, I love how Srila Govinda Maharaj would tell it, who can chastise us, who can pull our ear, twist us, say, hey, nonsense. Who can correct us?
Bitterly. Bitterly.
Bitterly. He can correct us. So, that same Chaitya Guru in the heart manifests externally as Diksha and Shiksha Gurus. And then the last limit, which is really unlimited, is Ananta. So Ananta is generally manifest as Ananta Shesha or Sheshanag, but Ananta means there's no limit. And that Ananta, with his unlimited mouths, has been glorifying in every form, even as Baladev, has been glorifying Krishna since time without beginning. That means forever. And feels that Krishna's glories are so unlimited that I cannot even begin to scratch the surface of that unlimited ocean of Krishna's glories. In other words, it's impossible. So he's been giving Harikatha since forever. So he's the source of Harikatha as well. He's glorifying Krishna. So all Harikatha is also manifesting from him. By his grace, we will become freed from our bondage in this material world by hearing the Harikatha, the glories of Krishna. Shrinvatam Svakata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Hridyan Taksto Hyabadrani Vidunoti Sukritsatam, Nashta Praishva Badreshu, Nityam Bhagavata Sevya, Bhagavat Yutama Shloki Bhakti Bhavati Naishtaki. He is manifested as the Bhagavat and the Bhagavatam. We can never neglect Baladev Prabhu. We can never neglect Nityananda Prabhu, and we should never neglect Shri Gurudev. Dandava Pranam, all Vaishnavas.
Dandava Pranam. Hey, Champak.
Who just came here? Anjali.
Anjali.
Lady Howe, Natalia Fyodorova, and Rekha Dasi. Dandava
Pranam.
So that's just a little, you could say, a snippet of Baladev Tattva. He manifests the eternal associates in the transcendental dhams, and he also manifests the Tatashta Jivas in this world. Interestingly enough, the Jivas which are manifesting from him have their own particular proclivities. But we'll go into that on another day. It's there because it's eternal. We cannot remove it. If we, as embodied beings in the material world, can experience so much and have this feeling of individuality, how can it possibly be that our Atma is less than that? That would be an utterly ridiculous assumption. Our Atma is so much more than that. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoi Shravanadi Shuddhijite Koreye Udai. That thing which is eternally present within us must be awakened in the association of the manifestation of Baladev Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu in our lives, Shri Guru, and that is Diksha Guru and Shiksha Gurus, the Vaishnavas. They will uncover and awaken what is already present within us. And that will be nourished, as Mahaprabhu says, Shravana Kirtana Jale, by the water of hearing Harikatha, which is also the manifestation of Baladev Prabhu glorifying Krishna, and Kirtan. Now, Kirtan can mean Shravan Kirtan, hearing the Kirtan of that pure devotee. But I asked Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, whose Kirtan? Is it my Kirtan or their Kirtan? Srila Gurudev said both. First Shravan and then Kirtan. So we must do Shravan of the Kirtan of Ashray Tattva. Baladev Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, Gurudev, the pure Vaishnavas. We must do Shravan of their Kirtan and then do Kirtan of what we have heard from them. I hope that was clear. Raghava Prabhu, you may adjust or correct or even post that beautiful quote from Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj about hearing the Kirtan of Ashray Tattva. On that note, we're going to pray to Sri Nityananda Prabhu, the manifestation or direct. The class is in between the bhajans.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
So they looked at the clock and I was like, no, we're speaking in between. But we're going to speak some pastimes of Baladev Prabhu afterward. Okay, so Nitai Padakamala Koti Chandra Shushitala by Sri Narottam Das Thakur, page 58 in our Sri Gaudiya Giti Gucha. Nitai Padakamala we will call for the mercy of Shri Gauranga. He is the heart of Nityananda Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranam Krishna Priya, Didi Mataji and Bruce Izzy, Dandavat Pranam.
Vande Vishwambhara Pada Kamalam.
Nice. Page number?
Page number 339 in our Sri Gaudiya Gita Gucha. 339. There it is. By Shri Radha Mohan Das. Dandavat Pranam. All the way from Gopinath Bhavan, Rukmini Raghubir and her husband.
Dandavat Pranam. I think Lalita Priya is there too.
Okay. Page 339, calling out to the mercy of Sri Shachinandan and Gaura Hari. Vande Vishwambhara Pada Kamalam, Vande Vishwambhara Pada Kamalam, oh Vande Vishwambhara Pada Kamalam, Vande Vishwambhara Pada Kamalam, Kandita Kaliyuga Janamala Shamalam, Kandita Kaliyuga Janamala Shamalam, oh Kandita Kaliyuga Janamala Shamalam. Sonam's got 3 golden hearts. I think they're for Gora.
Hello, Jane Allison. Hey, Jayanti.
Wow, time is flying. Pralaya payodhi jale dritavanasi vedam. by Sri Jayadev Goswami, page 349. 349.
Will you just do it through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because Balram, as we all know, is the first manifestation or expansion of Krishna, his own Vaibhav Prakash. Vaibhav means special mood. So himself, but with a special mood. The mood is loving service to Krishna.
We were listening to Srila Prabhupada today, our Srila Prabhupada, and he was, what? Like it wasn't the other one.
No.
Oh, were you going to do that?
No, just because I was smiling because of what you're going to say.
Oh, we were listening to Srila Prabhupada today, and he was singing this very kirtan. And when it came to Haladar Rupa, when it's speaking about Srila Baladev Prabhu, he didn't say Haladar, he said Baladev. And we got and we were so excited. We're like, oh my God! It was just so sweet. It felt very personal. I know Haladar also, it's his name, but there was something very, I don't know, just intimate and brudge about it when he did that.
Because Gurudev said that in Vrindavan. We know that when he came back afterward to do the Raslila, Baladev Raslila, that time he had a plow.
Yes.
But when he's younger, when he's in Vrindavan, that Balaram, he does not have a plow. So Prabhupada is saying, Keshava Drita Baladeva Rupa. So Sonam, there you go. She had just written Keshava Drita Haladara Rupa.
And then she fix it?
She added down there, Keshava Drita Baladeva Rupa. Good listening.
It was just so sweet because we had Srila Prabhupada playing, but then we both at that moment were like, whoa, we were in other rooms. We were in other rooms and we're like, did he just say that? And then he did it again. So it was very sweet. So it's bona fide. We're not going to change anything. We're just following.
Exactly. So let me just get this. So we're going to call out this beautiful Dash Avatar Stotram all together. Page 349 by Sri Jayadev Goswami. Pralaya payodhijale drikavasi vedam Vivitavahitra charitram vedam Keshavadita mina sharira Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Kshatriya Dhiramani Jagadapagattapapam Snapayasi Payasi Shamita Bhavatapam Keshavadrita Brigupati Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Tarasi Dikshurani Dikpati Gamariyam Dashamukamauri Brahmaniyam Keshavadrita Rama Sharira Jai Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Vapasi Vapushi Vishari Vasanam Jaladaham Allahati Dhiti Nitayamuna Keshavadrita Haladhara Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Keshavadrita Baladeva Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Vindasi Yaksya Vidhe Ahaha Shuddhi Jatam Sadaya Hridaya Darshita Pashudhatam Keshavadrita Buddha Sharita Jai Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Lakshari Vahani Dhani Kalayasi Karvalam Dhumake Tumiva Kimmati Karam Keshavadrita Kalki Sharira Jai Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Shri Jayadeva Kavirti Damuditam Mudaram Shringu Shubhadam Sukhadam Bhavasaram Keshavadrita Dashavidharupa Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Keshavadrita Baladeva Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare. Keshavadrita Baladeva Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare, Baladev Prabhu ki jai. Shri Baladev Purnima ki
Jai! Oh, Yashday has to go, which means he's gonna miss Krishna Kanaiya. Dauji ka bhaiya.
Are you leaving right this moment, Yash?
You could sing it now.
Because we can sing it right now.
Baar karenge?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But then someone asked that because today is the last day of Julan, can we sing the Julan song?
If there's
You'll just have to move the camera like this.
We did that last year.
Yes. Look, he smiled. He'll wait for Parakarenge, of course. And Radhe Julan Apadharo. So now we're going to call out Krishna Kanhaiya Dauji Kabhaiya.
Baar karenge?
Nayare Bhaja Krishna Kanhaiya.
Page
368 in our Sri Gaudiya Giti Gucha.
If you don't sing too high, I'll try to follow. And you don't sing too low, because I can't do that either.
Oh my God. Anupama.
Anupama!
Yee, Julan song. Okay.
Every time I think of Anupama's name, I think Anupama.
But we're not singing that one.
Madhuri.
I guess we are.
Okay.
So, this is the really fun Braj song. Par Karenge Nayare Bhaja Krishna Kanhaiya. Today is a birthday celebration. It is a great, great day.
The best
So-
day.
The day of Balram. So, Krishna Kanhaiya Dauji ke bhaiya. Par Karenge
Yo!
Nayare Bhajo Krishna Kanhaiya. Par Karenge.
Naiya re bhaja Krishna Kanaiya.
Is it too high?
I don't know. Just go. Do
It's
it.
not.
Do it. Do it.
पार करेंगे नैया रे भजा कृष्ण कन्हैया पार करेंगे
Naiya re bhaja Krishna Kanaiya.
कृष्ण कन्हैया राजी कन्हैया
Krishna Kanaiya, Dauji ke bhaiya.
ओ कृष्ण कन्हैया राजी कन्हैया
Krishna Kanaiya, Dauji ke bhaiya.
कृष्ण कन्हैया Tauji means older brother. Now in Braj they say Tauji, but it means older brother. So Krishna Kanaya, that is Krishna, and his older brother, Tauji or Dauji, that is Baladev. Here in Vrindavan, in Braj Mandal, there is a temple of Balram there established, and it is known as Dauji Mandir. And there he is blackish complexion. When Balaram is blackish complexion, why is he that color and not white?
Meditating and remembering Kanaya.
In deep absorption and deep separation. So Krishna, who's normally blackish, sometimes becomes golden when he's absorbed in remembering and obsessing on Srimati Radhika in the form of
Mahaprabhu.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Sorry.
Srimati Radhika, sometimes remembering Krishna, becomes darkish complexion like him. And Baladev Prabhu, also remembering Krishna, becomes darkish like Krishna. So, as we were talking before, complexion in the transcendental realm is manifested according to the bhav of the individual. Very amazing thing. Like the color green is not just a color. It is the color of Radha and Krishna's meeting. Otherwise, Vrindavan. Why? Because as her golden effulgence is running ahead of herself, and his bluish effulgence is running ahead of himself as they're running to meet each other, that golden effulgence and bluish effulgence meet. Before they meet, and already everything is painted in the color of their meeting, which is Vrindavan, the greenish color. So, I wanted to mention a little something about Keshava Drita, Baladeva Rupa, Keshava Drita, Haladhara Rupa. Generally, when we sing this Sri Dashavatara Stotram, our Srila Gurudev has told that one should not sing at the end Jai Dash Avatar, that one should understand that they're all manifestations of Keshava or Krishna. But Balaram in Vrindavan is special because he's an eternally transcendental, you could say, fully existing personality within Vrindavan at all times. So although he is said to be the first manifestation of Krishna, still in Vrindavan he is always present. And all of those other avatars are within Krishna. So when you're saying Balaram or Baladev, the original Balaram is always in Vrindavan. The original Krishna is always in Vrindavan. The original Srimati Radhika is always in Vrindavan. Vrindavanam parityaja padamekam nagachati. They never step one footstep outside of Vrindavan. The Krishna of Mathura and Dwarka is not the same as the Krishna of Vrindavan. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita states quite emphatically. He is a manifestation of that original Krishna. Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj has explained again and again and convinced without leaving any wiggle room to all of the pundits of Vrindavan and even the ones of Mathura. My God, our Gurudev would also establish it to them, and when they wouldn't accept it, he would say, what, you don't know Srimad Bhagavatam? You haven't read Srimad Bhagavatam? Then they would get a little bit shy, and he would establish with all evidence from Bhagavatam, because Mahaprabhu says, Srimad Bhagavatam Pramanam Amalam. It is the topmost spotless evidence. So through the medium of Srimad Bhagavatam, Harivangsha, Garga Sanghita, and so many Shastras, Puranas, and Vedic literatures, our Gurudev would establish, even in assemblies of Pandits and Brahmins of Mathura, what to speak of all of Braj Mandal, that the Krishna of Vrindavan is not the same as the Krishna of Mathura and Dwarka. The Krishna of Mathura was not born in Mathura. He manifested with 4 arms.
Janmashtami is coming.
And the Baladev of Mathura was not born in Mathura. We know that he was in the womb of Devaki for how long? 6 months. And then apparently, from external view, she had a miscarriage. According to Harivangsha, Rohini Maya, who is by heart a Vishuddha Brajavasi, meaning her mood, her bhav is that I am Brajavasi. She had gone to visit her husband, Vasudev Maharaj, in the prison, and to serve Devaki and Vasudeva. At that time, she became pregnant.
He was transferred.
At that time, she had become pregnant. So then our Gurudev asked the question, well then, doesn't that mean that Baladev came from there? No, because she is Vishuddha Brajabasi, which means everything about her is also Brajabasi. So Baladev, that original Baladev, was never in Mathura. She was carrying the original Baladev, and Devaki was carrying his manifestation, or Mathura Baladev. After some time, Vasudeva Maharaj requested his wife Rohini to avoid the meanness of Kamsa. He was quite mean to everyone. You should go to Vrindavan and stay with Nanda and Yashoda. Now, Vasudeva Maharaj and Nanda Maharaj share a common ancestor, same grandfather. That grandfather had wives of the Kshatriya caste and the Vaishya caste, and from that came Vasudeva Maharaj, the Kshatriya, and Nanda Maharaj, the Vaishya. So they are related, they are family. So he sent Rohini, you go and stay with Nanda and Yashoda. She had the original Balaram, or Braj Balaram, in her womb, and after 6 months, Devaki had what was apparently a miscarriage of her seventh child. By the influence of Yoga Maya, that manifestation of the original Baladev in Rohini's womb, who was present within Devaki's womb, was transferred to the womb of Rohini Maya. It's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. And as we know, the original manifests himself, so those manifestations will enter back into themselves. I hope that makes sense. He has manifested that form has manifested back into himself. So that Baladev was born in Vrindavan. He only ever knew that Rohini is my mother, Yashoda is also my mother, Nanda Maharaj is my father. And so he sees Krishna as his brother, not different. And of course, Janmashtami is coming, so we'll discuss more about that later. So it is said that Baladev was within the womb of Rohini for 14 months. Srila Jiva Goswami has reconciled some apparent contradictions in different scriptures, things that were difficult to understand. He has gone through very, very finely and explained that if Baladev was, because some people say he's born after Krishna, then how could he be the older brother? And if he's born a year before, then how could it be that they were given the same grain ceremony at the same time, that they were crawling at the same time, that they were given their names at the same time?
Gurudev said it would be preposterous that he would be without a name for a full year.
Yes.
How?
And in fact, it is said that the first time he opened his eyes was when Krishna manifested. So he didn't open his eyes for a whole year. So Baladev Prabhu manifests only a couple of weeks before Krishna. But still, he has that older brother thing. Of course, we know he was in the womb of Rohini for 14 months. That can explain why he's so strong. So the original Balaram never steps 1 foot outside of Vrindavan. We know in the history of when Akrur was taking Krishna and Balaram from Vrindavan, he went to bathe in Jamuna on the border of Vrindavan and Mathura. At that time, when he was chanting his mantras, he was calling the Ishtadev of his mantras. Mantras are very powerful. Who is his Ishta? That is Mathuresh Krishna, Mathuresh Balaram. Not Braj Krishna, not Braj Balaram. In essence, he pulled the Mathura Krishna and Mathura Balaram from the original. And then he noticed something weird. Strange. He felt it. What's going on here? Krishna and Balaram are in the chariot, but Krishna and Balaram are also in the forest, walking into Vrindavan. He's looking left, looking right. He didn't quite understand what was going on. He thought he was seeing something. He was, but he didn't realize that he was, by mantra, pulling his Ishtadev and taking his Ishtadevs to Mathura. The original Krishna and Balaram remain within Vrindavan. As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Vrindavana parityaja swagatim naiva gachati padam ekam na gachati. They never step 1 footstep outside of Vrindavan. We should understand that. Even within Vrindavan, when demons are being killed, this is not the function of Krishna and Balaram of Vrindavan. It is their manifestations as the avatars within themselves. Krishna and Balaram's function in Vrindavan is to play, to laugh, to enjoy. They're not their function isn't to kill demons. So it is the Vishnu avatars within who are fulfilling all of these functions. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita explains this in quite some detail. Oh, Krishna Premavati, you just wait until it's close up.
What'd she say?
She said, only now noticing the beautiful, exquisite Shringa.
Oh.
Hey, look. Padmanabh Goswami. Dandavat Pranam. So nice to see you yesterday.
He spoke on Hamsaduta as well. We spoke about it earlier.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe ji.
Vrindavan mein Radhe Radhe. Mathura mein Jai Shri Krishna. And, oh, Jai Prabhupada. And Vabangamala. Okay. Radhe Radhe. So our Srila Gurudev Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj. I remember it was 1996. I remembered it like the back of my hand, like yesterday. And then years later, I saw the video. Gurudev sat them down because they gave a spiel for what felt like half an hour before they would open the curtains. Speaking about how Krishna was born in Mathura, and then he was brought from Mathura to Vrindavan, and exchanged, like all of that. And Gurudev sat them down, gave them all evidence from Srimad Bhagavatam, gave them all evidence from Shastra, and then made them hold their ears and promised that they would never tell it like this again. He said, how can you claim to be a Brajabasi and say this? He said, no real Brajabasi will ever claim that Krishna is anything other than the son of Yashoda and Nanda. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said this, Advaigyan Tattva Braje Brajendra Nandan. What's that verse? Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matamidam Tatradaro Napparaha.
This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's opinion, and there is nothing beyond
it. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is establishing Mahaprabhu's opinion of which there is nothing beyond. Aradyo Bhagavan, the topmost worshipful form of Bhagavan, is Brajesha Tanai, the dearmost of Nanda Maharaj, the dearly beloved of Srimati Radhika. Therefore, Tadhama Vrindavana, his Dham, Vrindavan, is the topmost. Ramyaka Chidupasana, Brajavadu Vargenia Kalpita, the topmost form of worship, of Upasana, by which Krishna is the most pleased, is that of the Brajagopis, especially Srimati Radhika. This is proven in the topmost scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam, the topmost spotless evidence, Pramanam Amalam, which establishes that the highest, topmost attainment is Prem. Prem Umarto Mahan. This is the opinion of Mahaprabhu, and there is nothing beyond it. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states. So, I just wanted to explain that the original Krishna and Balram of Vrindavan, they never stepped one footstep outside of Vrindavan, but their prakash, their manifestations. But Baladev's manifestation in Mathura and Dwarka is known as Mool Sankarshan. And then from him manifests Mahasankarshan in the Vaikuntha planets. And then from him manifests Kanadakshaya Vishnu, from him Garbhadakshaya Vishnu, from him Chirodakshaya Vishnu, who is also known as Paramatma. And that Chaitya Guru in the heart manifests as Diksha and Shiksha Gurus. And then the last limit is Anantashesh.
Sounds like Advaita Acharya's appearance day.
Yeah. Advaita Acharya is a bit complex. Sadashiva Tattva. Lord Shiva is all kinds of tattvas. Very difficult. And Baladev Prabhu, well, he's in essence in everything. He's Krishna's first expansion. So this itself establishes that Krishna is the source of everything. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakaranakaram Ram Adi Murti Shukalani Yamena Tishthandana Avataram Akaro Bhuvaneshu Kintu Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramapumanyo Govinda Mari Purusham Tamam Bhajami. That's from Brahma Samhita. And then Srimad Bhagavatam is corroborating or stating the same thing. Ete Chang Sakala Pungsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So he's the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything is manifesting. He is the prime cause of all other causes. And yet, the love of the Prajabasis is such that he forgets, I am God. And he's only running after the love of his devotees. So, coming back to Baladev Prabhu. Keshavadrita Baladeva Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare. So, what does it say in that shlok? Halahati bhiti milita yamunabham. What is he doing?
He's dragging Jamunaji.
He has come back to Vrindavan after a long time. So somehow that manifestation has manifested again. He's come into Vrindavan, he's re-manifested within Vrindavan before the eyes of all. Because they've been living in desperate separation from Krishna and Balram. Although they never stepped foot outside of Vrindavan, still, for the purpose of Leela, it appears to them that they have departed. And this shows the greatness of the love of the Vrajavasis above all others, especially the love of the Gopis above all others, especially the love of Srimati Radhika above all others. Udhav came to try to pacify the Vrajavasis. Very unsuccessful. He realized, I have no qualification here. I can't even gain entrance into the university of the Gopis. He tried. Nanda Baba was laughing. What kind of intelligence do you have? He's the disciple of Brihaspati. And Uddhav felt like, I know nothing. He was able to be there to witness the Gopis, to see Srimati Radhika's talking to the bumblebee. He saw all of these things, but he was completely flabbergasted. He was unable to pacify them. Baladev Prabhu, he also was sent to Vrindavan. Why? Why did he come to Vrindavan? Because his mood is how to please Krishna, but his mood is also unable to bear the moods of separation of Krishna and his devotees. So he's trying to somehow bring about a meeting. Krishna has his reasons for not returning to Vrindavan. I haven't quite understood them. I tried, but it just never makes sense. It just doesn't make sense.
We just don't like it, that's why.
Yeah, it's really, really difficult for me to accept it. But anyhow, we'll discuss that at another time.
There's Rathayatra.
So Baladev Prabhu came. Immediately, everyone who saw him were so happy to see him. It brought a wave of hope to them, to their hearts. Nanda Baba, the gopis, the cowherd boys, all just embraced him. And they sat down with him and they were asking him so many questions, discussing so many things, asking about Krishna, asking how he is, how he's doing. And he was sharing so much sweet katha with them. And they were feeling like life had returned. This connection to Krishna. But Baladev also, they were feeling deep separation from him. Remember, Akur took Baladev and Krishna. Both of them. The life of Vrindavan. Even when Balaram and Krishna are walking to the forest in the morning, the gopis are glorifying Baladev and Krishna. How beautiful does Vrindavan look when Baladev and Krishna are going to the forest in the morning? Gopis are glorifying both of them. So Baladev spent so much time with Nanda, Yashoda, and all of the elders, speaking to them. He spent so much time with the Sakhas, but he knew the gopis are feeling the most separation. I must give them some extra special attention. So Baladev Prabhu gave them some extra special attention for 2 months. And we'll discuss that also more at another time, but he was spending time with them, reminiscing about Krishna. We must understand that Baladev Prabhu, his whole being, every particle of his being is made of loving service to Krishna. He doesn't have this mood of selfish enjoyment. Krishna has every right, as the supreme enjoyer, Vishai Bhagavan, to have the mood of transcendental selfish enjoyment. Everything is of him and for his purpose. Ekala Ishvara Krishna Ar Savavritya. There's only one supreme controller and everything else is for him, is for his service. So Baladev Prabhu's mood is such. So I wanted to establish this point before speaking about this Halahati Bhiti Milita Yamunabham. Jaydev Goswami is mentioning Baladev's Rasalila pastime directly in this. And a whole section of Baladev's Rasalila pastime has been mentioned also in Srimad Bhagavatam and so many other scriptures. And in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur goes very deeply into it. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada is giving his commentary. Jiva Goswami is giving commentary. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is giving commentary. Because a lot of people can't understand it. They try to understand Krishna's Rasalila with the gopis, but then you're going, wait a second, now Baladev is having Rasalila with the gopis also? Then they start criticizing. We should understand that Baladev is not in the mood of Vishai. Baladev is in the mood of Ashray. When Krishna leaves the Rasalila, the gopis are remembering Krishna in a mood of separation, and they're acting out roles, remembering Krishna. But their only mood is loving service in separation to Krishna. And Baladeva also has this mood. So he meets with them. So for the general population, certain things have been said, and then other things are said for other populations according to qualification. And so, according to our qualification, we may or may not understand. I don't understand anything. I'm only repeating what I have heard from Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta, Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and our Vaishnavas and Guru Varga. So Baladev Prabhu was engaging in a Rasalila pastimes. What Rasalila? Playing in Jamuna, walking through the forest together, reminiscing about Krishna. They were also drinking baruni, which is a special kind of rum. Honey wine. Remembering the pastimes of Krishna. And dancing as well. Which gopis is Baladev dancing with? Sometimes it is said Krishna's gopis. Everything is Krishna's, ultimately. Other times it is said with other gopis, specific gopis. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada mentions that in the pastime of Holi, which took place at Govardhan, at that time, just after the killing of Shankachuda, at that time, Krishna motions to Baladev Prabhu, look, there were some gopis who were looking at Baladev Prabhu. In other words, they had some attraction to Baladev Prabhu. Remember, Baladev Prabhu is Krishna himself, but with a speciality. He has a different complexion and he has different instruments. Also, he has his own particular look, but he's actually not different from Krishna. There's really no difference, but there's a speciality. So, our Srila Gurudev mentions that Krishna, his main instrument is a flute. He also has a buffalo horn, a bugle. Baladev's main instrument is the buffalo horn, the bugle, but he also has a flute. Baladev wears a different color cloth. He wears bluish cloth. Krishna's cloth is yellow. No one wants to wear that color cloth. Krishna gave it to Madhamango once, and it was disastrous for Madhamango.
He gave it back the same day.
He gave it back the same day and said, I don't want your flute, I don't want your feather,
Talk about
I don't want your cloth. So, Baladev Prabhu, Krishna mentions or motions to Baladev Prabhu, look, those gopis are checking you out. And so it is said that those gopis, they were dancing with Baladev Prabhu. Also, so many gopis who were very young at the time of the original Rasalila dance, who were not able to take part in that, were able to then feel that satisfaction to some degree with Baladev Prabhu. So Baladev Prabhu was engaging in these Rasalila pastimes with all of those gopis. He manifested a particular mood at a certain point. Seeing that they were all feeling fatigued from dancing, he wanted to satisfy them. He was manifesting this Dhir Lalita Nayak mood, that one does not want to see any fatigue on the beloved and becomes like a servitor of the beloveds. So he called Jamuna, you come here. Mind you, he was drinking this baruni juice.
His eyes were
She
red.
was afraid to come, seeing how he was. His eyes were like copper. And then he became angry and said, come here at once, or I will cut you into thousands of pieces. So it is said to this day, if you go to Ramghat, you will see how Jamuna is flowing, and then many streaks from his plow, he pulled her to that area, and then she immediately came before him, apologizing. Not the original Yamuna, who is Krishna Saki, but her manifestation is Kalindi, a special manifestation that was able to be controlled in essence by Baladev Prabhu. We must remember that Krishna's manifestations are multifarious and they have different functions. All Shakti has its source in the Purna Shakti. So Uma, Rama, Satya, Shachi, Chandra, Rukmini, Radha, Avatar, Sabe, Amnayavani. They are manifestations of herself, and yet you can't say they are directly or exactly her either. Because Radha is only with Krishna. She will never even be with Ram or Narayan or anyone else. Not with Dwarkadish Krishna, not with Mathuresh Krishna, only Braj Krishna. But her manifestation as Sita Devi is the consort of Sri Ram. Her manifestation as Lakshmi Devi, she is Sarva Lakshmi Mai, is the consort of Sriman Narayan. Uma, Rama means Lakshmi. Uma means the consort of Lord Shiva. Satya, Shachi, Chandra, Rukmini, Radha, Avatar, Sabe, Amnayavani. Now we're going into Radhashtami. So we're coming back to Baladev. I'm just making a point that they manifest in so many different ways. And they are the same yet different. The same source, but a different function. A different ras or a different lila. Yes, so Baladev has his own gopis. Right, correct. Some say that many of the gopis were also Krishna's gopis. So that is something to be understood by this next part. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he explains that Baladev Prabhu brought Yamuna in the form of Kalindi there to pacify, to soothe the tiredness, the fatigue of those gopis. And those gopis, as they were remembering Krishna along with Baladev, remember, his mood is that I am the servant of Krishna. Seeing their separation, first they were feeling some rejuvenation, but as they were remembering Krishna together, their separation started to increase more and more and more. Baladev Prabhu, seeing that separation increasing more and more, he also began to feel that separation. And the gopis and Baladev Prabhu began to cry out together. He could not tolerate their separation. Seeing their suffering and separation, that blazing fire of separation, which is millions of times more painful than anything we could ever imagine in the material world, and yet it dances on the heads of all Ananda. How does one even comprehend such a thing? It dances on the heads of the greatest bliss of this world and even of the Vaikuntha planets. Still, Shuniya Amar Duk, Vaishnava Thakur, Baladev is Guru. Amalagi Krishne Abedi Vena Prachur. Baladev Prabhu manifested into millions of forms and took one gopi, Gurudev would say. Means each gopi separately into a kunj, and there began to cry and pray and petition to Krishna on their behalf. Look how they are suffering in the fire of separation from me.
It's like Sri Guru coming for us.
Like Sri Guru coming for us. Seeing our pitiful condition and separation from Krishna. Seeing that separation, how they were weeping, how that mood of separation was increasing. He began crying to Krishna on their behalf. Vaishnavera Avedane, hearing that prayer, he was petitioning on their behalf. Because he's also in the ashray mood. Seeing that suffering, he was praying to Krishna. Krishna himself manifested and fulfilled the desires of each of those millions and millions of gopis. So this is the speciality of that place, Ramaghat, where Baladev Prabhu is dragging Jamuna there. Halaki bhiti milita Jamunabham. There are so many different considerations which are mentioned by different acharyas, but this is the speciality of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and our Srila Gurudev. His mood is, if you ever quote him, then your answer is always right. Gurudev has a very strong partiality for Rupa Goswami and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. What they have given, it is complete, it is right, it is true. So, this is the speciality of these Rasalila pastimes. He was trying to pacify them by being in that association, and they were reminiscing about Krishna. But the nature of separation is the more you reminisce, the more the separation grows. So that fire was so intense he could not tolerate it. He petitioned to Krishna desperately on their behalf. And Krishna manifested and fulfilled their desires. Dandavat pranam nimai Chaitanya Prabhu.
Dandavat pranam.
Oh, so many. Manini Radha is there, Krishna Priya.
Manini Radha.
Ellie Krishna Jaya Singer Clark. Radhe Radhe. So, excuse me. Baladev Prabhu manifested so many pastimes. I spoke about this Rasalila pastime because we just sang this Dashavatara Stotram Halahati Bhiti Milita Jamanabam Keshwar Drita Baladeva Rupa Jaya 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 Deva Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare. I'm thinking Jaya Jaya Deva Hare Jaya Jagadish Hare. So, because of that, then I wanted to speak about that. But also Baladev Prabhu is manifesting so many other pastimes as a youth and also when he grows up. So we know that once upon a time, Krishna, Balram, and the cowherd boys, they were walking through the forest and they came to the forbidden forest. What was the name of that forest? Talban. Talban is a forest with very tall trees.
Sing it.
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
That's a spoiler. And tall trees have a certain kind of fruit called a tall fruit, which the cowherd boys wanted to eat. Now that was a special forest. It was Kamsa's own personal forest within Brajmandal, and he was having it guarded by a bunch of demons who were in the form of asses, donkeys. But anyhow, the cowherd boys were hungry. They wanted to eat. So they began telling Krishna Balaram, we're hungry, we want this fruit. And as young boys would do, they're all naughty, of course, as we know. They entered into Kamsa's forest and began shaking the trees to receive the fruits. So some of the fruits were coming down, but as the fruits started hitting the ground, immediately the demons came running. Dhenuka Asur, the donkey or ass demon, and all of his ass family. Dhenukasur ran directly up to Baladev Prabhu, turned around and with his hind legs kicked Baladev Prabhu in the chest. Of course, we know that Baladev Prabhu, Bal means strength, strong. So it didn't affect him. But what did he do? He took Dhenukasur by the hind legs and began swinging him around and around and around and around. And then other donkeys started coming. Krishna grabbed them because they were saying, what's going on? As they were swinging them around, blood, vomit, stool, urine, and everything was coming from them. As they were swinging them around, they lost their lives. And then they threw them up onto the tops of those tall trees. And more of these ass demons were coming, one after another. And Krishna and Balram were wielding them very expertly, spinning them around in circles and throwing them up into these trees. I just remembered Bakane's Barai. A monkey jumped on him to grab his glasses.
No, but what kind of monkey? It was those big
Braj monkey, and he just... It was here.
I thought, no.
It was here.
Oh,
in Vrindavan. He grabbed the monkey by the foot or the tail, and he didn't know. He was screaming like swinging it around in each room. Anyhow, so Krishna and Balram began taking all of those ass demons and the family who came to attack them, one after another, throwing them up into the trees. These were servants of King Kamsa. They were all demons. And being thrown into the tops of the trees, they began to make the trees very heavy, and basically the whole forest, King Kamsa's forest of tall trees and tall fruits, collapsed. Seeing all the stool, the urine, the vomit, the blood, and dead animals everywhere, the cowherd boys were like, the asura hunger within our stomachs is no longer present.
We're not hungry
anymore. So our Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, never liked to just tell this katha without telling the deeper meaning behind it. What is the meaning of Baladev killing this Dhenukasura? Dhenukasura, the donkey or ass demon, represents ignorance. And Baladev is Guru. So the first function of Guru is to dispel our ignorance. Agyana timirandasya jnanam jana shalakaya chakshuru unmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namah. And our Gurudev would speak about why a donkey is considered ignorant. So one of the histories which we hear about donkeys I guess you can watch them locally here. They're so foolish, our Gurudev would say, that in the time of summer, when it is very hot and there is no grass or anything, they think I have eaten everything. Therefore, they become very fat. And in the time of, rainy season, when there's so much grass everywhere, even though they're eating constantly, but they look and they see, oh, look how much grass and everything is everywhere. I have not eaten anything. They become very skinny. But the main example our acharyas all give us is how a donkey is at the time of mating season. I always heard it growing up as a little kid, and it didn't really make sense to me until I saw a National Geographic. The two male donkeys are fighting over this female donkey who doesn't want to have anything to do with either of them. But they've somehow claimed her. She's mine. No, she's mine. No, she's mine. And she's like, I just want to eat grass. So they fight. These two males fight. Really like a bloody fight, kicking each other, biting each other, until one of them is so beat up he limps away and the other one is completely exhausted. But now he's like, I have won. Now I get to claim my female. So he goes up to her with the intent of mating with her, basically taking advantage of her. She's like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. So as he's coming behind her, he's already exhausted from fighting. She's kicking him again and again in his face with her hind legs. And he's trying to attack her and forcibly have his way with her. And she just keeps kicking him again and again in his face. So this is what our acharyas say is the epitome of ignorance. We're trying to enjoy in this material world, but the result of our endeavor to enjoy, especially the lustful activities, is that again and again we are kicked in the face and have to endure so many terrible difficulties. This is donkey mentality, ass mentality, and the epitome of ignorance. That how much suffering are we willing to endure for that chapala sukha? Sita ata papata barishana edina jamani jagiri bipale sevinu kripan durjan chapala sukha lavalagre. For a moment of pleasure here and there, we're willing to endure so much difficulty day and night in the wind and the rain and the heat and the cold, serving wicked, miserly persons. For what purpose? Bipal. We don't really get anything beneficial out of it. Not really. This is donkey-like mentality. Really? It is the mentality of an ass. And we require help beyond ourselves. That is Sri Guru, who begins to give us these teachings, these instructions. You've been doing this for millions and millions of lifetimes. Billions, trillions. The same thing over and over again. Supposedly, Einstein said, I read it on Facebook, that the definition of insanity is to do the same thing again and again and to expect a different result. So we've been doing the same thing again and again in samsara in millions of species of life forever, expecting a different result. But now Sri Guru has come into our life and has told us, whatever you have done before, don't do that this time. Gurudev said to us, just give me this one life, just one. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now is the time to inquire about the truth. You should spend your energy endeavoring for something that you haven't endeavored for in the past. All of that eating of meat and illicit sex and intoxication and gambling and all kinds of material activities, everything that has kept us bound in samsara, this time, no. You should use your life, your energy, your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, your words, everything in the service of Krishna. Bhajahu Rema, Shri Nandanandana, Abhay Charanarvindare. Bhajahu Haripadanitire. As Prahlad Maharaj told. He told his father, Hiranyakashipu, Vanam gato yad harim ashrayeta. Rather, one should go to the forest. Vanam. Which Vanam? Vrindavanam. Vanam gato. Go to the van, to the forest. Harim ashrayeta. And they are completely surrendered to Hari Shri Krishna. He told it to his father or his friends? I can't remember at the moment. So, Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj and all of our acharyas really, again and again, they're talking about this Dhenukasura. What does he represent? The epitome of ignorance, stupidity, foolishness. Who does that same thing again and again and again? But coming under the guidance of Sri Guru, taking shelter of Sri Guru, in essence, giving Guru the right. Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj said, what is disciple? One who voluntarily places themselves in the position where severe discipline can be inflicted upon them by their Guru. Why? Because on my own, Maya Mugda Jivanahi Svata Krishna Gyan, on my own, I cannot free myself from the bondage of Maya. As our Srila Prabhupada tells in his purport of the verse from Bhagavad Gita, Daidiheshu Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratteya Mameveye Prapadyante Mayamaitan Tarantite. Who is bound behind their backs, we call it hogtied, by their hands and feet, cannot free themselves. And others who are similarly bound cannot free themselves and cannot free you, and you cannot free them. Only someone who is truly liberated, who is actually free, can free or liberate the bound. So we require someone who is not bound to unbind us. That is Gurudev. That is someone who is free. What is freedom? Freedom means moving according to the nature of their true self. And that is loving service to Krishna. We're all trying to move according to the nature of our material bodies, minds, intelligence, and senses. We are all trying to be in the role of the enjoyer. And therefore, we are bound. So how can we free ourselves? We cannot free ourselves by our own power. Krishna has given mercy in the form of Gurudev. Krishna Kripa Srimurti Baladev Prabhu is manifested in that form to help untie us, unbind us. As Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, I was shocked by the words of my Guru. He told him, everything that you have, all of the knowledge that you've collected, everything you think you know, take it and throw it in the ocean. Throw it in the ocean and then come back. In other words, it's all useless. He said it was shocking to me. All of my knowledge, everything that I know, everything I think I know. He said, I thought he's either a fraud or the real thing. He said, then I prayed to Krishna. And by the mercy of Krishna, I was able to understand that he was the real thing. Srila Gaura Kishori Das Babaji Maharaj. And he said, I realized at that moment that by that shock, I was able to be awakened. And unless others are similarly shocked, they will not be awakened. Our Gurudev has said that, we are so weak that if Gurudev says something that even slightly pinches you, you will say, I don't like Narayana Maharaj. You will leave me in bhakti forever. But a disciple means I'm going to accept the chastisement, the correction, the shock that Guru gives me. I require a shock. How many billions and trillions of lifetimes have I been doing the same thing? Again and again and again and again. Apparently I had not been shocked enough. Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj told one devotee, even the thunderbolt of Indra cannot wake you. You require so many shocks, thunderbolts. You are so dense. We require that. We don't like it, but to be a disciple, we must place ourselves under that kind of discipline where we are allowing and accepting that my Guru knows what's for my benefit, and he will do what is necessary to break me out of this ignorant shell and awaken me to my eternal service of Krishna, of Shri Shri Radha Krishna. So Baladev Prabhu killing Dhenukasura represents the shattering of our ignorance. The first ignorance is Svarup Brahm, ignorance about who we really are. And of course, Sanatana Goswami, in his conversation with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, starts off with, who am I? Not for himself, he knows who he is. For us, for our benefit, who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering? What's my goal? Basic existential questions. Sri Gurudev gives us all of this. So Baladev Prabhu killing Dhenukasur represents him killing our ignorance. And then again, we know that Baladev Prabhu also killed a demon named Pralambasura, the epitome of hypocrisy. Pralamba was sent by King Kamsa to kill Krishna. But he was thinking, what's the best way to kill Krishna? Demons always have a really interesting angle. They think, if Krishna's near and dear are killed, then he'll give up hope and then he'll be easy to kill. Hiranyakashipu thought that. If I control the demigods or if I stop yajnas and stop sacrifice, then Vishnu will become weakened. Then I can easily kill him. So Pralamba took the shape of a cowherd boy. This is called duplicity, hypocrisy, pretense. And he entered into the pastimes of Krishna. Now, this is by Krishna's will, of course, by the power of Yoga Maya, this is able to happen. So Pralamba entered, and he took the side of Krishna. And Balram was on the other side. And so they were having wrestling matches, and whoever would win would get to ride on the shoulders of the loser. So Pralamba was on Krishna's side. Whose side won? Balram's side. So Pralamba had to give Balaram a ride on his shoulders. Now Balaram is Guru Tattva in essence. Akhanda Guru Tattva, the complete Guru Tattva. What does Guru mean? Heavy. So Pralamba is giving a ride to Balaram on his shoulders, and he's thinking, I should take Balaram really far away. If I kill him, then Krishna will lose all hope, then he'll be easy to kill. He wanted to kill Krishna's near and dear. What kind of horrible mentality is that? Anyway, this is Pralamba. He has gone in, the epitome of hypocrisy. He has Balaram on his shoulders, and instead of just running back and forth in the local area, he just takes off and starts running far away. Baladev Prabhu is sitting on his shoulders. And as Baladev was sitting on his shoulders, he's like, hey, wait a second. This coward boy is not no ordinary coward boy. He's not still playing the game. He's taking me far away. Suddenly, Pralamba started feeling the weight, the guru of Baladev. The gurutva, the heaviness of Baladev. And he could no longer maintain his cowherd boy form. He manifested into his real demon form. Massive, massive demon, as high as the sky. And Baladev Prabhu, it is said, resembled the moon on a very big, dark cloud. Baladev Prabhu, seeing this demon taking him, running with him, decided, I don't want to go far from Krishna. So what did he do? He punched him on the head, and Pralamba fell down dead. So what does this represent? Baladev Prabhu, in the form of Guru for us, also killing the anartha of duplicity.
It also seems something to the effect of trying to usurp the position of Guru as well, because he's Guru Tattva.
We're going to get to that one soon.
Oh, sorry.
So yes, this will come into the other one.
Sorry.
Shri Guru comes into our life. Srila Gurudev explained, with that kind of ignorance and that kind of hypocrisy, one cannot enter into the pastimes of Krishna. One cannot become a real Brajbasi. It's impossible. So by the mercy of Guru, our anarthas are destroyed. Rupa Goswami tells, Ado Shraddha, Tata Sadhu Sangha, Tab Bhajana Kriya, Tato Nartana Vritisa, Tato Nishta Ruchistata. The activities of bhajan which Gurudev gives us, those activities, by that, gradually then our anarthas are dispelled. This is by the mercy of Gurudev. Prema bhakti jaha hoite avidya vinasha jate. Shraddha is transcendental. It's the first particle of prema. And Gurudev awakens that within our heart, the desire to serve Krishna, Krishna Seva Vasana. He gives us these steps of bhajan, sadhan bhajan. And by that, bhajana kriya, then anartha nivritti. All anarthas are gradually dispelled. First, that particle of prema comes and gradually all of that ignorance is destroyed. Gurudev destroys that ignorance. So these anarthas, they have to be destroyed. before we can attain the qualification to enter into the Nikunja Seva of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. So Baladev Prabhu killing Pralambasura represents for us Gurudev, killing our mood of duplicity and hypocrisy. Now we're coming to what Sudevi was saying. Sometime later, there was one person in Naimisharanya. He was called by 88,000 rishis, recognized as the disciple of Vyasadeva, Romaharshan Sutta, as the most qualified person to deliver Srimad Bhagavatam. So from all over the universe, not needing mobile phones or telephones or anything, they were able to understand by heart, there's going to be Srimad Bhagavatam recitation. We must go and hear. So from everywhere, 88,000 great personalities had come to hear from Romaharshan Sutta. At that time, the source of all of that Harikatha and the epitome or the extent of Guru Tattva, Akhanda Guru Tattva, Baladev Prabhu, came into the assembly. Every single person present stood up to welcome him and honor him and greet him, understanding his position. Everyone except for one person who remained seated on the seat of Vyas, but didn't even bow, what to speak of stand to greet Baladev Prabhu. Baladev Prabhu immediately recognized that this person who is sitting here has no qualification to speak Bhagavatam because he's not giving credit to where credit is due. Baladev Prabhu has manifested the glories of Krishna. He's not honoring the person who has given it. He cannot recognize the source of Guru Tattva. He cannot recognize the Guru of Gurus. How can he sit there on the seat of Vyas? He's not qualified to be there. He's a fraud. So what did Baladev Prabhu do? He took one blade of kush grass and just touched Romaharshan. And immediately, he lost his life. All the sages were saying, oh no, what have you done? What have you done? We came here to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Now what are we going to do? Baladev Prabhu said, you want me to bring him back to life? I can do that, no problem. No. What you've done is perfect. But we came to hear Bhagavatam. Immediately, Baladev Prabhu placed his hand on the head of the son of Romaharshan, that is Ugra Shrava Sutta. He had a voracious appetite for hearing the glories of Krishna.
Didn't he have big ears?
That's what I would understand. Ugra Shrava just means Ugra. Shrava means to hear, and Ugra means like Ugra, voracious, like Ugra Narasingha. So he was drinking, always hearing Harikatha. Baladev Prabhu, he was only 10 at the time. Baladev Prabhu placed his hand on his head and within a moment manifested all Tattva Siddhant, all Rasa, everything within his heart in a moment. This is the process really by which transcendental knowledge enters our heart. Not by studying, not by knowing Sanskrit, not by all kinds of material endeavors, but by the mercy of Guru.
Doesn't Gurudev say, though, one day we will have to know all this? I remember he was giving some Harikatha.
Is it paused?
No.
Okay.
And in that, he was giving all of these definitions and shlokas, and our heads were spinning. And he just kind of laughed. He said, one day you will have to know all of this.
Yes.
So, I mean, I don't know all the shlokas that Gurudev would tell. None of that has manifested. But through study, a lot of times I'm able to at least memorize and hold on to that katha. So, I mean, shouldn't we study? Isn't that
We should make the endeavor, but that is no guarantee of realization.
Right.
Thousands and thousands have memorized so much. It's usually the Sanskrit scholars who end up rejecting their guru and going against their guru.
Right.
It's the ones who think they know everything.
Srila Prabhupada, we call it over-intelligence.
Yes. If you see, and from them, then so many others are pulled away from the service of guru. We saw this in the some of the most close senior disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Some of the nearest, closest thought, I know more than my Guru. And they left him and pulled so many away from him. So just having the knowledge of all of that is not enough. There must be a mood of seva and dedication. If we make the endeavor, Guru will see, oh, this person is sincere, and he may give something. But just knowing it by memorization or theoretically is not actual knowledge. It's theoretical knowledge.
Yeah, we've seen that that when people are studying and going to all of these different shastras, they negate their guru and their parampara and think they know better, and they think that they can change and explain things better.
And they go over the head of their guru and their guru's guru and their guru's guru and think, I understand, my Purva Acharya is better than my Guru Dev and his Guru Dev and his Guru Dev. Let me jump beyond them and then try to present. And I'm still full of so many anarthas. I'm still bound in this material world with so many attachments. I don't normally say this, but who the hell do I think I am? I don't know all of that. Maybe theoretical, maybe ecclesiastical. I've studied something and I've memorized something, but what right do I have? I don't have that right. The only right I have is to repeat what my Guru Dev has given me. He is the processed, digested understanding of all of our Guru Parampara combined. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains this. So,
Achyuta Krishna Prabhu is saying externally it may be seen, or it may seem that Baladev Prabhu acted out of conceit, especially to one lacking faith. But what is the tattva that he is trying to establish?
Yes, so I wanted to bring it back to this point. Thank you for bringing that up. What Sudevi was just mentioning. Case in point, Romaharshan Sutta. Who knew more than him? All of them thought he knew the most. He knew all of the shloks. He knew all of the tattva. His guru was Ved Vyas. He was senior. He was superior. They all respected him. They all gave him the seat of Vyasadeva. But he had the mood of deceit. He was taking that seat but was not qualified to do so. And Srila Gurudev said, if one is assuming the role of guru but does not have the proper understanding, does not give proper acknowledgement to their guru and Guru Varga, the source, they are not fit to be there, they will be destroyed, he said.
Yet it seems that Baladev Prabhu is showing that you don't recognize me, but yet you're sitting there and you're speaking Bhagavatam, but you don't recognize.
Then it's not Bhagavatam.
Right.
What is it? It's pride, it's ego, it's deceit. And then he didn't want them to hear from that source, because what would they get? Nothing. If you're listening to someone who is not taking the mood of their guru, but who is trying to jump over the head of their guru, or who's neglecting or disrespecting. When Srila Gurudev went into the temple, in one temple in 1990...
In Los Angeles.
I'm not going to say names.
But it happened in Los Angeles.
1996, he walked into the temple. He offered pranam to all of the Vaishnavas. He circumambulated all of the Vaishnavas. All of them just sat there. Even the one on the seat, who happened to be a guru. And did not acknowledge, did not stand, did not show any respect or affection or anything. That person subsequently has veered off the path because of the aparad. So these kinds of things do go on. We witnessed it personally. And of course, at that moment, it did look like,
Romaharshan.
We have a third Romaharshan. Second Romaharshan was the one mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Who was it? Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami. His brother had failed to honor Nityananda Prabhu. And it was...
Chaitanya Das?
No.
The Pujari?
No, yes, it actually was the Pujari
Yes.
who didn't have the move, but it was in the house of his brother. And who was it? Not Abhiram Thakur.
Mini
Ketan Ram Das. Mini Ketan Ram, he saw, oh, you're acknowledging Mahaprabhu but not Nityananda Prabhu? This is also lacking acknowledgement of Guru Tattva. This is the logic of half a hen. You're taking one side of the hen but not the other. You won't get anything. I see we have in our midst a second Romaharshan.
And his flute that he
broke
would hit,
it.
he would give Krishna praying with that flute by hitting people. He broke that flute.
He broke it and left that place. And immediately, Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami knew, I cannot remain in this place where aparad has been made to Nityananda Prabhu and to Miniketan Ram. Let me leave here immediately. He left there immediately and went, not knowing where to go. He was resting under a tree. He fell asleep, and at that moment he had, I will call it a dream, spurti of the most beautiful manifestation. Baladev Prabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, looking like, well, it was Balram.
Yeah.
With all of his Dwaraj Gopal, manifested to him and instructed him. Oh, how beautiful was he?
His eyes were rolling.
Yeah, that.
Get up, look.
And he instructed him, you should go to Vrindavan. And there, basically, you should be under the guidance of Rup Sanatan and the Goswamis there. So, because he had given up that unfavorable aparadhi association, he was given direct darshan of Nitai Baladev Prabhu and then given the association of and under the shelter of Sri Rup Raghunath. What kind of mercy is this? Some people say that, oh, we should all just be together and not see any difference. But if someone is going against Gurudev, if someone is going against his teachings and conceptions, this is not the principle. Sajati ashai snigdha sangha. Who is going against my Gurudev? Gurudev said, don't meditate on their good qualities or their faults, but stay very far away. Don't associate by mind or anything. That means neglect. Prem, maitri, kripo, peksha, upeksha, yakaroti samadhyama. Neglect must be there at such a time, yes.
Just something, a little bit to this point. Today I was listening to a lecture of Srila Gurudev, and he was talking about not criticizing anyone, even those who oppose you or go against. And he said, just like Kamsa is so favorable. Why? He sent so many demons and created so many opportunities for so much Leela. So he said, although we don't criticize, or we don't want to be with him, we don't have that mood, we don't criticize him because he facilitated so many beautiful pastimes of Krishna. And in the same way, because Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami left that situation and never considered turning back, he got the full blessings of Nityananda Ram. And he went to Vrindavan. So he doesn't need to criticize. He doesn't need to think of that. It actually gave him his greatest gift. He was able to leave that place. So yeah, not to stay and to associate and become deeply engaged with them, but pranam forever sometimes. And that in itself will incur the mercy, the full mercy of Sri Guru and Nityananda.
Because if we are deeply absorbed in the bad qualities of others, even those who are aparadi to our Gurudev, and all the nonsense they're doing, if that is our primary absorption, then that means I'm not thinking of Krishna. I'm thinking of those bad qualities. Then at the end of my life, if that's my absorption and meditation, well, I have failed to follow Krishna's instructions that I should always remember him. Man bhavaman bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. He doesn't say meditate on the deviancies of others, the deviations of others. Krishna doesn't tell us to do that. So yes, we should recognize what is favorable and what is not favorable for us, avoid what is unfavorable, but focus on what is favorable if we want to attain to our goal, which is Krishna Bhakti Ras Bhav. Tatra lonyam apimulyam ekalam. Right? So, coming back to the point that Achyuta Krishna Prabhu, yes, he's also mentioning Devananda Pandit, so there's something similar there. I'm not going to go into that. But it appears that Baladev Prabhu may have been conceited. Now we should understand, because he is not different from Krishna himself, and he is Akhanda Guru Tattva, he has every right to remove a fraud from a position, or from usurping a high position artificially. He has that right, and he has that duty for the benefit of all. So he showed to all that just because 88,000 rishis might agree, and just because someone knows a lot of information, someone knows Sanskrit, someone knows so many tattvas, someone knows so many leelas and everything, it doesn't mean that they are the knower of truth or a tattvadarshi. Whereas someone who might, Mahaprabhu, when he saw the Brahmin in South India, who was weeping. When we were little, we were told that he was basically couldn't read Bhagavad Gita. He had it upside down and he was weeping. But I don't think that's exactly how it was, but the idea is there. And then he was just looking at the pictures, and I was thinking, wait a second, there weren't pictures.
In the essence of Bhagavad Gita, Gurudev does have this story.
But it's not like there were pictures.
He was illiterate, I believe.
It's not like there were pictures in the books back then.
There's line
The
drawings.
Prabhupada's books have pictures. That was our life, our everything. But he was weeping, and Mahaprabhu asked him, why are you weeping? He said, I can't read, I'm illiterate, I don't know anything, I'm just a fool. But I'm just completely melted. How Krishna can take the subservient role of being the servant of Arjuna and taking the role of his charioteer. This is melting my heart, that he's becoming the servant of his devotees. And Mahaprabhu at that time, he acknowledged that you have understood everything. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj was also illiterate. He could not even write his own name or read anything. But look who took shelter of him and became desperate to receive his mercy. The most intelligent person in creation, Srila Bharti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhu. He took shelter of that person who could not write or even read his own name, but whose heart was overflowing with love and affection for Radha and Krishna. Kotai go prema mai Radhe Radhe, Deka diya prano rako Radhe Radhe. He took shelter of that personality. He was ready to give up his life. Karuna na hoile kandiya kandiya. Without your mercy, weeping and weeping, prana na rakhibo. I won't maintain my life. I cannot. I won't be able to. With that kind of desperation, like we see with Narottam Das Thakur and Lokanath, what kind of mood they had to attract the mercy of their Gurudev. So just being externally knowledgeable in so many things is not the qualification. Oh, I know Sanskrit. It's not about all of these things, all of the external things. Our endeavor should be there. But if within the endeavor, the desire to please Guru and Krishna is not present, or there's other desire, anya abhilash, desire for kanaka kamani pratishtha, or for gyan, or anything else, any material reward, karma, adi, anything else, then it can be considered not bhakti. It can drag us away from bhakti. What is the intention? So if we're studying and learning the shlokas because Gurudev said you must know all of these things, so to please Gurudev, Guru Krishna, that maybe he might look in my way, glance at me and give me some mercy, some sidelong glance, seeing my endeavor to learn it for his pleasure, for Krishna's pleasure. Then it can be considered bhakti. But if it's only to assert myself over others, oh, I know so much. Don't you know who I am? I'm so superior to you. You're junior to me. I know so much more than you. What do they know? Gurudev again and again would tell the history of Aruni and others, how in one moment Gurudev gives all knowledge, all tattva gyan to that sincere disciple who is endeavoring to serve and follow with their heart, their life and soul. Real knowledge, realized knowledge, doesn't come simply by my own endeavor. I cannot grasp the infinite with my finite abilities. When he chooses to reveal himself, then I can know. And how does he choose to reveal himself? Reveal himself
in the form of Sri Guru, by our petition and our crying. What we can do is make noise like a baby crying for its mother. And Krishna will respond by sending his own heart, his kripa, in Krishna kripa Shri Murti.
The moment you started talking, I looked down and I saw Rab Ellings, Raghav Pandit, and I'm remembering Srila
It's so funny, every time he comes, we're speaking that Guru Tattva.
Guru Seva is everything.
Everything.
He said you have to weep, you have to cry.
With urgency.
Our business is to cry, and the rest is the business of Guru and Krishna. From the core of our heart. We can make so much endeavor, but we should not think that by our endeavor we can know. It is by the mercy of Guru and Krishna that we can know. So Baladev Prabhu is showing so much in this pastime with Romaharshan and showing how he gave everything in a moment to Ugrashrava Sutta, who we know as Sri Sutta Goswami, the speaker of Bhagavatam, the Bhagavatam that we have. He's repeating what he has heard from Sri Shukadev Goswami by the mercy of Baladev Prabhu. That is the Bhagavatam version that we have. Sri Sutta Uvacha, he is the one speaking. He was directly given everything by Baladev Prabhu. And yet, he sees his Guru as everything. Tang Sarva Bhuta Hridayam Munimana Tosmi. I see my Gurudev, Sri Shukadev Goswami, situated within the hearts of every living entity. So, Baladev Prabhu is showing so much in this one little, literally, one blade of grass, one pat on the head. He is manifested that those persons who are aspiring for Kanaka Kamini or Pratishtha, but who have no realization and no understanding, no proper honor and respect for their source. What is it? It's useless, it's cheating. So he removed him, and in a moment he showed, I can give everything to this one, and manifested Srimad Bhagavatam through Sri Sutta Goswami. Baladev Prabhu has no conceit whatsoever. Everything he's doing is service to Krishna.
I was just thinking also, when Lord Indra saw his Guru arrive, he didn't stand up, he didn't greet him, he pretended he didn't see him, and he had to come and become a pig. And so it's to show how we should behave, how we should see when that personality, Sri Guru, enters. We stop everything, our Thakur Seva, whatever we're doing. We're not chanting while he's speaking. We're focusing completely on Sri Guru at that time. Well, all the time, hopefully, but also this pastime in a different way is shown to Lord Indra.
So Baladev Prabhu is the older brother of Krishna.
Yay!
There's so many more pastimes, but time is getting late.
Well, also we are going to do Janmashtami and probably start at 6 o'clock.
Yes, and we will tell so many pastimes of
Baladev
the
and Krishna.
babyhood of Krishna and Balram. But this pastime was quite intense, so I just want to go back in time.
Back to Vrindavan.
Back to Vrindavan. Little Baladev and little Krishna, when they were little, both of them were being made to dance for laddus, for makhan and mishri. Well, not only Krishna, also Baladev. They used to hold on to the tails of calves, and the calves would run through the Goshala. That time it was like mud with a mixture of gobar and gomutra. It was quite slushy, and they would run through, and well, they're the source of water skiing. From what I've understood, they would be holding on, getting a ride through all of that. So much sweet enjoyment. Baladev Prabhu's, he would go with Krishna. Actually, we're not calling him Prabhu at this time. Balram, or they would just call him Ram also. When they would go out to graze the cows at lunchtime, after they would eat, Baladev would lay down, and Krishna himself would massage the legs.
Today I was listening to Srila Gurudev. He was speaking in Hindi, but he was telling how the gopis, when they were quite young, and this is another proof that Baladev isn't a year older, because they were very little, just, they were walking and everything, but still very little. Gurudev said that some gopis would take the side of Balram, and other gopis would take the side of Krishna, elderly gopis, and they would tell them, oh, I think that Krishna can beat Baladev in wrestling. And then the other gopis would say, no, Baladev will win. And then they would tell them, whoever wins will give some mystery, some makhan, will give you some. So they would wrestle and the gopis would be clapping, and Gurudev was just laughing and telling these sweet leelas.
There's so many sweet pastimes of little Balaram and little Krishna together. Balaram always had this very protective mood toward Krishna, and Krishna always had this mood. Kind of think we're going to tell it in Janmashtami, but when Krishna needed confirmation of anything, he would look toward Balram to give confirmation. And he trusted Balaram implicitly.
Yeah, but Balram was also a big brother, which means they pick on their little brothers sometimes.
He would tease Krishna sometimes. Oh. But anyhow, Krishna loved Balaram, but sometimes Krishna would do things that would make Balaram a little bit upset. Like Brahma Vimohan Leela, I just want to share this bit. At Brahma Vimohan Leela, what did Krishna do? For 1 year, Krishna manifested himself as all of the cowherd boys and calves, because Brahma had stolen the cowherd boys and the calves. And Balaram was noticing something which just doesn't seem right. Why are the cows, before all of the cows and the parents in Braj used to first run to Krishna and offer all of their love and affection, and then the remnants of that they would give to their own babies, means the cowherd boys and the calves. But now, the cows and the elderly parents in Braj of the cowherd boys were running to their own babies and giving so much love and affection. They weren't running to Krishna. And the cows were going to their, generally they should go to their, the new calves, but it was said that they were actually going to the older ones first, which is kind of odd. Things were reversed, and Balaram was wondering, what's going on? Something isn't right here. Before they were all going to Krishna. And then he found out, he discovered, oh, Krishna did this, and he didn't let me know. Krishna put Balaram in the Yogamaya bewilderment. How powerful is Krishna that he can do that? And Balaram became a little bit upset. He did it a few times, also with Arjuna and Subhadra. Balaram wanted Subhadra to marry Duryodhana because Duryodhana was his best student at club fighting. And Krishna and everyone else wanted Subhadra to marry Arjuna.
So did Subhadra.
Yeah, Subhadra also wanted to marry Arjuna. All of the Yaduvangsha wanted Subhadra to marry Arjuna, but Balaram wanted her to marry Duryodhana. So basically Krishna made a plan with the blessings of everyone, but everyone was a little bit afraid to tell Balaram. So instead, Krishna told Arjuna, come here dressed as a sannyasi. So in this case, it's the order of Krishna, therefore it's all good. Otherwise, one should never fake being a sannyasi so that they can attract the beautiful woman and kidnap her, or be kidnapped by her. So Arjuna was there as a sannyasi, and Krishna used his special potency to bewilder Balaram. Balram also was offering pranam to this sannyasi who appeared very, very renounced, who was sitting under a tree. And then Krishna told Subhadra, you should dress up, you should go there on your chariot to honor this sannyasi, and all of your desires will be fulfilled. And he told Arjuna exactly what to do. So what happened? She got up on the chariot. She pulled Arjuna up onto the chariot. She drove the chariot, and Arjuna challenged everyone. Baladev was like, what? Arjuna just kidnapped our sister. And Krishna's like, yeah, but that's okay. I kidnapped Rukmini. Also, you arranged that Samba would kidnap the daughter of Duryodhana, Lakshmana. You arranged this. This is in our family lineage. It was Rukmini who arranged for Krishna to kidnap her. Also, Subhadra wanted to marry Arjuna. So Krishna told Baladev this and said, anyhow, look, who's driving the chariot? And Baladev looked and he was like, oh man, why didn't you tell me? And Krishna said, we all wanted to, but you didn't want to hear it. And Baladev was just like, ah. So sometimes Krishna plays these leelas with Baladev Prabhu, and we should understand that this is leela. It is part of their pastime. When leela is there, sometimes it looks like there's disagreement, like between Radhika and Chandravali. It looks like disagreement, but really the whole mood of all of the pastimes, the transcendental pastimes of Krishna, is to increase Krishna's transcendental bliss.
Jiva Pavana Prabhu says, when Balaram saw someone had tied his brother Krishna to the grinding mortar, he became angry, saying, who has done this? However, as soon as he heard that Mother Yashoda had done it, he became fearful.
Srila Gurudev explained that one can bind Krishna according to the depth of their love and affection.
Hey, Tarani.
Oh, Radhe Radhe. One can bind Krishna according to the depth of their love and affection. So, although so many of the cowherd boys tried to unbind Krishna at that time, they could not do so. It may be that Baladev could, because, well, in other rasas. But because Mother Yashoda had done it, he wouldn't even try. He knew, this is beyond my pay grade, it's beyond my adhikar. He became fearful. Ooh, Yashoda tied Krishna. So they couldn't unbind him.
I asked Srila Gurudev, what about the gopis? Could they have untied? And Gurudev said, oh, just by their eyes, immediately that rope would burn.
There you go. So on this day, the day of the anniversary of the appearance of Lord of Balram. Generally, within Vrindavan, we can't call them Lord. Sometimes Lord and Lady. But in Vrindavan, he's Baladev Sakha. Dao Bhaiya. He's the brother, older brother of Krishna. So on this day of the appearance of Dao Bhaiya, we pray in the dust of his lotus feet and all of those manifestations that can help us to attain our cherished goal in the form of Nityananda Prabhu, in the form of Sri Gurudev and the pure Vaishnavas. Please be merciful to us. Please remove our ignorance. Please remove our anarthas. Please kill our donkey ass-like mentality and our hypocrite mentality and our desire for Kanaka Kamani and Pratishta. Please remove all that so that we can awaken to our true nature. Please be merciful to us. Without your mercy, Radha Krishna Paitenai, I can never attain the shelter of Shri Radha and Krishna. So we pray to Baladev Prabhu to give us that spiritual strength. You see me, you know that I am like your child. I have manifested from you. So you have so much compassion upon me. You want the best for me. So please don't see all of my difficulties. Please remove these anarthas and awaken my true nature as a loving servant of Shri Radha and Krishna.
Jai.
Shri Baladev Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Baladev Purnima ki Jai. Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki Jai. Shri Gurudev ki Jai. Shri Guru Parampara ki Jai. Oh, Shri Guru Vaishnava Sadhu Guru ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. You said that you would end with the swing bhajan. And you could just go into Hare Krishna. If you want, I could kind of swing the camera so Thakurji is swinging.
Okay, that's great.
Okay.
Just a little bit though, very, very subtly.
Yes.
Okay?
And by the way, just again so you know, if you have, I miss you too, Jambak.
We miss all of you.
we miss all of you. Jai Shri Haribol. So, on Janmashtami, it's probably morning for many of you, so you could attend morning and evening and all day. But we will start at 6 o'clock, our time here in Vrindavan. Usually we start at 7, but it seems to never be enough time. And we will go
until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Until probably 1, because we will do the arti and everything. And
probably at 12:30.
Krishna will be born, Shalagram will be born from a cucumber. You know, we do the whole thing. So, Janmashtami, if you want to join us, we would be so happy. We'll tell so many leelas that we've heard from our Gurudev and Vaishnavas. And also Radhastami. And after that, hopefully, we will be settled in Gopinath Bhavan. Everything will be finished. And then for Kartik, maybe we'll be able to start bringing you around here and there. That is our hope. So, and Manini Radha, I'm still waiting for information, especially from Shripad Madhav Maharaj. So, yeah, Gurudev said that we put shalagram in a cucumber, and at midnight, it's like the womb of Mother Yashoda, and they're born.
Yes,
I will post the schedule. All right.
A little shalagram from a cucumber.
So I'm going to swing the camera a little bit. First, I'll give darshan while he's doing the bhajan. Then I'm going to swing them like a little bit, like we did last time. So,
but also show.
Yeah, I'll be giving darshan of everyone. It's going to be a very interactive bhajan.
So now we're going to sing Radhe Jhulana Padharo, Jhuki Aaye Badara, page 374. And then we will enter into Hare Krishna Mahamantra from there.
Okay.
Okay? So, 374. Radhe Jhulana Padharo, झुक आए बदरा राधे झूलन पधारो झुक आए बदरा झुक आए बदरा धीरे आए बदरा झुक आए बदरा धीरे आए बदरा राधे झूलन पधारो झुक आए बदरा राधे झूलन पधारो झुक आए बदरा ऐसो मान राही कीजे हाथ छोरी आई ऐसो मान राही कीजे हाथ छोरी आई तुमको परम सयानी
He has his own Baladev there.
ऐसो परम सयानी वृषभानु की लाली राधे झूलन पधारो झुक आए बदरा राधे झूलन पधारो झुक आए बदरा साजो सोल श्रृंगार दारो नैनन गजरा साजो सोल श्रृंगार दारो नैनन गजरा हरो पंचरंग सान ओढ़ो श्याम चदरा हरो पंचरंग सान ओढ़ो श्याम चदरा राधे झूलन पधार झुक आए बदरा राधे झूलन पधार झुक आए बदरा तेरो रसिक प्रीतम मग जो हत खरो तेरो रसिक प्रीतम मग जो हत करो राधे जहाँ पवधार श्याम नैना धरो राधे जहाँ पवधार श्याम नैना धरो राधे झूलन पधार झुक आए बदरा राधे झूलन पधार झुक आए बदरा नारी रेशम डोरी जावे झूले राधा गोरी नारी रेशम डोरी जावे झूले राधा गोरी जाती मैया गोरी गोरी पहरे हाथ गजरा जाके मैया गोरी गोरी पहरे हाथ गजरा राधे झूलन पधारो झुक आए बदरा राधे झूलन पधारो झुक आए बदरा झुक आए बदरा धीरे आए बदरा झुक आए बदरा धीरे आए बदरा राधे झूलन पधार झुक आए बदरा राधे झूलन पधार झुक आए बदरा हरे कृष्ण
Jai ho.
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे
Hare Krishna, Krishna. He has a little toy Balram. This is Ananta Shesh, but we call him Dauji. He's the older brother taking care of Gopal, but he has a little Balaram and a little Jagannath, of course. He's beautiful. It's Dauji.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare, Krishna Kanhaiya, Dauji ka bhaiya, Krishna Kanhaiya, Dauji ka bhaiya, Dauji ka bhaiya, Krishna Kanhaiya, Dauji ka bhaiya.
Can you see it's Ananta Shesh? But he's actually Dauji, so just so you know. Dauji ka bhaiya, Krishna kanhaiya.
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 Krishna kanhaiya.
Dauji ka bhaiya,
Krishna kanhaiya.
Dauji ka bhaiya,
Dauji ka bhaiya.
Krishna kanhaiya.
Dauji ka bhaiya.
Krishna kanhaiya.
Krishna kanhaiya.
Dauji ka bhaiya,
Krishna kanhaiya.
Dauji ka bhaiya,
Dauji ka bhaiya.
Krishna kanhaiya.
Ka bhaiya.
Krishna kanhaiya.
Krishna Balram, Hare Krishna Balram, Krishna Balram, Krishna Balram,
Krishna Balram,
Krishna Balram,
Krishna Balram, Krishna Balram.
Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gora Hari Bol.
Jai Jai Gurudev,
Gurudev,
Gurudev, Gurudev, Jai Gurudev,
Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev.
Jai Prabhupada,
Prabhupada,
Jai
Jai
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
Shri Shinitai Gaur Premanande
Hari Hari Bol.
Shri Gurudev ki
Jai.
Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Panu Gauri Guru Varga ki
Jai.
Ati Pavan Shri Nityanand Prabhu ki
Jai.
Shottam Shachinandana Gaur Hari ki
Jai.
Radha Vinu Bihari Ju ki
Jai.
Radha Ramana Ju ki
Jai.
Raj Maharaj ki
Jai.
Harinama Sankirtan ki
Jai.
Krishna Mahamantra ki
Jai.
Shri Baladev Purnima ki
Jai.
Shri Balram Jayanti ki
Jai.
Shri Baladev Prabhu ki
Jai.
Avirbha Maha Mahotsav ki
Jai.
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki
Jai.
Gaur Premanande
Hari Hari Bol.
Govinda
Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti, Govinda Damodar Madhaveti.
Bolo
Radhe Radhe
Jai Jai Shri
Shri
Radhe.
Radhe.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Shyam.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bo.
Shri Baladev Prabhu ki
Jai.
Avirbhav
Mahamohotsava
ki
Jai.
Shri Baladev Purnima ki
Jai.
So thank you all very much for being with us today and giving us the inspiration to remember so many of the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev, of Srila Prabhupada, of our Guru Varga on this very, very special day of Baladev Purnima, and for engaging us in this seva, which is our life and soul, which we're desperately trying to get back to as soon as possible on a regular basis.
Very soon. Don't give up on us, please. We need you.
We feel completely indebted to each and every one of you, and we look forward to being with all of you very soon.
Janmashtami about 2 weeks.
Yes.
And we will start, I'll post it, but we'll start at 6 o'clock. Usually we start at 7, but we'll start at 6 because it's never long enough.
Yeah, because
we have so many bhajans,
more beautiful kathas to speak also.
so many stories, so many bhajans, so many ashtakams.
So we look forward to being with all of you then on Shri Krishna Janmashtami, if you are not already occupied elsewhere.
Yeah, if you're occupied, you go. But
Just
if
so
not,
all of you know,
yay.
Sonam.
Oh, Sonam. Does she have a new
I
name?
just can't remember it at the moment.
Sonam, what's your name?
Sonam has taken the forward step in her life to accept Guru and Harinam and embark on the process of bhakti in her life.
Happy birthday, like last week.
Yeah, so that's really wonderful. I just
Congratulations.
She has a beautiful wait. Something Swarup. Saki Swarup.
Saki
Devi
Swarup.
Dasi. Saki Swarup.
Saki Swarup. Yeah,
May
there it
your
is.
Saki Swarup
Devi.
manifest as quickly as possible.
She's our Saki
Devi
Swarup.
Dasi
We needed a
ki
Saki Swarup.
jai. So, wow. Saki Swarup Devi Dasi.
Okay, so we'll see you on Janmashtami. If you're busy elsewhere, definitely just say prayers for us wherever you go. And but we'll be here till after midnight, Vrindavan
And we
time.
don't know how to say see you later in
We're
every
just gonna
language,
do
so
our
we're just gonna
normal
do our
thing.
normal thing.
Yes.
Except for the ones that we do know how to say
Hey,
see you
Jayananda.
later with. So,
Hey, Jayanti.
Radhe
Okay.
Radhe. Okay,
Jivadiamo doma. Oh,
Dopo, lei.
no. Jivadiamo domani.
Hasta luego.
You ruined it.
Okay,
We said
ci
we were
vediamo domani.
Hasta mañana. Kal milenge. Tat morgen. Bis morgen. Nitai hala. Ikide toyas. Atayamaya. Aduma. Feri betola. Mata ashita. Dazatra.
Was it Nitai Bangla?
Nitai Bangla. Look, there's Baladev.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Sham.
Sham.
Dandavat Pranam, beautiful, lovely, gorgeous Vaishnavas. We look forward to being with you as soon as possible, probably. Janmashtami. Okay, Dandavat Pranam. See you then, and I'll post the schedule with pictures of the gods. Okay? Hey Mom, hey Jiva Pavana. Dandavat Pranam. Radhe Radhe
Radhe,
Radhe
Radhe.
Sham.